Hey everybody, Reefgrrl here, and welcome to Reefgrrl Live. I'm so glad you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, ask a few questions, maybe show us what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. Hey everyone, this time I remembered to unmute my mic, so hopefully you can all hear me. I'm not using my little streaming device tonight because it hasn't been holding a battery charge. So can you let me know in the chat if the audio is good and or whether there's any kind of a weird echo or anything like that, because I don't have earbuds connected to the speakers, and so the sound is coming into the room and all of that kind of thing. Let me just say hi to everybody. There's Tony Close, UK Reef. Tony was #1 tonight. Welcome, Tony. And we have Filipino Reefer. Hey, Benny. A very close second after Tony. Chili Will's Reef. Hello. And there's Hector Calypso's Reefs. Glad you can make it, Hector. And BC from hi all there from the murky depths of the sea. Yeah, cool. There's Ryan Calabrese. Hello, Ryan. And Waterhouse Jason. Glad you can make it, Jason. And Lynn Reef Nerd. Nice to see you, Lynn. One Golf Jones. I not only remembered, I remembered on time. Yep, that's the challenge of life, right? There's Detroit Hammer. Hello. And Chase V Reefing. Nice to see you, Chase. Marcus Aerolis, 187. Diacanthus is here. Cool. Very good. 10 times 5 RG. Does that mean the sound is okay? I'm assuming you guys can hear me because nobody has said, we can't hear you. Or you're killing our ears. There's the Herm 14. Hello from the SF Bay area. Okay, so I don't really have anything to show you this week. A couple things to report, which we were talking about last week. I guess I can play you this little video that will tell you about something I got. And if you follow my Instagram, I hope this is it. Let's see. I've gone over to the dark side. Yeah, so my Hydros has arrived and I have not opened the box yet. I'm going to do a little bit of reading first to see what sort of things I might want to do with it. I know how it works. I understand the various types of things you can do, but I want to figure out what I want to do with it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And let's see what else happened. Well, this week I saw a lot of my Tomini tang. And oh boy, that fish is very, very fat, which is awesome. It means he's both eating the algae that's in that 150-gallon stock tank that he's in, along with most of my rock structures from my reef. But it also means that he is healthy and alive and hasn't jumped and isn't starving. And yeah, and he is quite a big fish. He's probably bigger than Pamela, who was the Tomini tang I had that died in the big massive fish death. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in an actual tank where I can see him swimming around from the side and not just from the top when he's lurking and going from one rock hiding place to another. But he's doing really, really well. So I'm super pleased about that. Who else is here? MB Reef, hello. Hey, Johnny Martinez. Good for you, Johnny. I'm ready. I have my drink, potato chips, pen and pad, and sleeping bag. That's awesome. I have my usual libation. Wait, better move that comment. I've got my rooibos tea in my special Reefgrrl Yeti that my daughter and husband got me for Christmas, and the lid on this thing will keep that tea hot for like 4 or 5 hours. So it's perfect for this because I don't like cold tea and I can't drink it when it's too hot because it hurts. And yeah, so I'm ready to. Glad you could make it, Johnny. It's also what I got a few days ago. He's not eating much. The very first Tomini tang I got, I named her Pamela. I don't know if it was a she or a he, but I decided it was a she. And she was about the size of maybe a little bigger than a quarter. And she got terribly beat up the first 24 hours or so in the tank. That was in the Red Sea tank. So she took refuge in an underhang on the left-hand side of the tank. I found where she was. So I took a rock and I wrapped a small piece of nori or sea veggies around some algae pellets, soaked that with Celcon, and then I attached it to a rock with a couple of very small rubber bands. And I put that kind of at the entrance to the little cave that she had. I mean, she could still get in and out, but it was right there. So she didn't have to go out anywhere into the tank and be bullied or terrorized or attacked by the other fish. And she took to it immediately, immediately, and never looked back. It took about 2 weeks, I guess, for her to fully heal. And then she was absolutely fine. Excuse me. Don't you hate when you swallow your own spit? Sorry, didn't mean to be gross. What else is going on here? Hey, Beespeak. Ryan Calabrese. Any advice on Frogspawn? Oh, oh no, that's me. I was hoping somebody was in here because then they could talk too. So it was me though with my video. Any advice on Frogspawn? Have one, did great for first month, now not extending. Alk 8.6, pH 8.32, 460, 1380, 0.08, par around 270, middle of the tank, moderate flow. The only thing I would wonder about is if something's annoying it. And the only reason I say that is when I first moved my Duncan into the Red Sea tank from the other tank it was in, it took probably, I would say, a month before I realized it was not opening up hardly at all. And so I started looking in there at night and I noticed these little sort of blotches all over it. And I thought these things were maybe eggs from something, or I just didn't know. So I got a turkey baster and I got a couple of them off of there, and it turned out they were flatworms. So the flatworms were annoying the Duncan that whole time to the point where it wasn't, it would, like, just the centers of the polyps would open up a tiny bit, and that was it. And so once I figured that out and I used flatworm exit and I got rid of them, then it was all good. So I don't know, maybe there's a pest on the Frogspawn somewhere. So I would say look at it at night if you can, with a flashlight. And I don't know whether it's close enough that you could use a magnifying glass, or what I sometimes do is zoom in with my phone camera, and you can sometimes get pretty good images close up, although in the tank, yeah, you almost need to be an octopus with multiple arms to hold the flashlight and operate a cell phone camera. But I'd suggest looking at it at night, and possibly someone in the chat might have a little more experience with Frogspawn than I have had. I have had some in every tank I've ever owned to varying degrees. My very first one I got for the clownfish that came with the neglected tank that I bought. And ultimately I traded it in at the fish store, and it was the size of a melon by the time it went there, just from 2 heads when I bought it. That was back in the day when I bought it for $20 and thought that was a lot of money. And anyway, so I would check for pests. That would be what I would be wondering about right off the top. Pinot Reefer is answering Ryan. Yeah, this is true, Lynn. It was really good to see your tanks last week. Amazing what you have there. And it was, I really appreciated you coming in because, as I said, I've often seen little samples of what you got on Instagram, and it was really good to see the whole context, what the whole tank looked like. So thanks very much for doing that, and maybe you can come in again sometime. 1 Golf Jones says, my Frogspawn don't like a lot of light. Yeah, that's quite possible. That's all it's doing, hovering the rocks, rubber banded the nori up 2 spots. Yeah, I guess that's all you can really do. And kind of, I put the Celcon on because it is kind of an attractant, and the fish react differently when the Celcon is on the algae sheets than when it isn't. So I usually try to prepare them ahead of time, put a couple drops on and let it actually dry and soak in to the algae, and then I put it in the tank, because otherwise it just floats away. And they seem to attack it more when it has that flavoring or whatever that stuff is. It smells like garlic, but I'm sure there's other stuff in there. 270 seems high to start it at. You're talking about par. Yeah, maybe. Whoa. Hey, Johnny, that's awesome. Hair algae disappearing, as you said in your next comment. That's good. You're doing something right. Awesome. Thank you, Cindy, and all. Good call. I'll check it tonight and see if any pests are on it. Move it into some lower light. Really appreciate everyone. Hey, can't always help, but every once in a while. Hey, AlexG. Having some dinner, then I will hop on the stream. Awesome, because Alex, I saw on Insta today was a big day, and it was a picture of your temporary holding tank, and I think I know what that means. That is, I hope you come on and tell us about it. So the other thing that I did was I got myself a blonde naso tang about a week ago. What's today? Saturday? A week ago Friday. And I saw it regularly for the first 2 or 3 days that it was in there. It was hiding at the back. It was blotchy, so it looked like it was stressed. And then I didn't see it. But there's no sign of any fish body. The algae on the clip does get eaten, and the Tomini tang, I have not seen it touching that algae, although it eats the algae on the rocks. I've seen it grazing there. I know the mollies eat that algae, but they don't usually eat it right down to the clip. So I'm hoping that I still have a blonde naso tang in there. And one of the reasons I got it was to help with the algae on the rocks, and that stuff is disappearing. But as I said, I know the Tomini tang has been eating it. And I really don't know. I don't know what to think. I have not had one of this type of fish before. I have read that sometimes you'll not see a fish for a long time, and then all of a sudden there it is. There are a whole bunch of places in the stock tank that I cannot see, no matter what angle I take, because of course I can't look in the sides. I can only look in the top. And because I put all of the media bags from the filter canisters at the back, there are a lot of areas along the walls and where he could be hiding, or where he could have passed away and I could find the body. So tomorrow I'm going to take out all of those media bags. I'm going to move some of the live rock that I've been curing that's back there because it's in the dark. And I'm going to take a really good look and see whether I can find him. And if I can't find him doing that, or the remains of him, then I'm going to assume that he's just found really good hiding spots, and there's just no way I'm going to see that fish until I empty everything out of there. I constantly look around the tank on the floor. I have looked in the other 2 adjacent stock tanks that form the sump. Not in there either, because I mean, I imagine him jumping up and bouncing on the lid of the return tank, like the final 100, and sliding in. It could happen. And if the other 100 is right close by, he could have popped right up and out and gone in the other 100 as well if he jumped. So it's a mystery. And it made me decide that from now on, I'm only going to get fish when I am able to put them in an observation tank for an extended period and make sure they're okay. Because it's not the first fish I've lost since I've had this sump going. I keep trying different things, and especially with the algae problem, although I haven't tried a fox face yet, I might do that once I have a tank that I can put one in to observe it. And that's probably going to be Mollywood when I bring it home. The clowns will go into the 100-gallon stock tank that's the second part of the sump. No fish in there right now, and so they'll get put in there with their section of rock that has their green hairy mushrooms on it, and I will put whatever I decide to try, foxface or another tang, into Mollywood. We're going to set it up and run it, and that's going to be an observation tank for fish. So we'll see. I've had such a bad luck run with fish, and never in all the 10 years, I've never had such a problem with keeping fish alive as I have this last year. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm just going to go back to basics, to what I used to do, and see whether that's part of the problem, is that I'm not able to catch problems before they become so serious that the fish can't survive. So we'll see if that happens. Ingredients say, oh, this is for Celcon, fatty acids, lipids, vitamin C, and B12. Celcon, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, the stuff is slightly greasy, so that makes a lot of sense. I have fish oil pills on hand. I'll try those. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's like, it's almost like I guess an appetite enhancer as well. I've read about Celcon. So maybe the idea of any kind of an appetite enhancer will help, just to get them started, to get them tasting it. And I think in the case of this fish, when I wrapped the algae pellets in the nori and I soaked it with Celcon, they had a chance to soften up a little bit. Plus, the other thing is, the size of the pellets was those really tiny, tiny half-millimeter borderline powder, the smallest ones that I could get. And I think that might have helped also, because I guess one problem is, if the fish can't find food that it can fit in its mouth, then it's hard for it to eat. And these days, the fish food pellets are designed so that they don't immediately dissolve, because that always led to cloudy water. So they stay somewhat in their original form for a lot longer than they used to. So they don't soften up, I guess is what I'm trying to say, like they used to. So the fish might have a hard time eating something if it can't fit it in its mouth, especially if it's tiny. Yep, I always use Celcon. I've just a few drops for a day. Yeah, same fish supplier, same store, but in both cases, well, it's the LFS that I use, but in all cases, I've made sure the fish has been there for an extended period of time, like not just get it in on Friday, yeah, everything looks good, and they get sold the following Friday. They've all been in the store for several weeks. And I don't know. One time I lost fish because I did a water transfer. You know, they say it's less stress if you transfer out half the water and replace it slowly, and then transfer out, wait 15 minutes, transfer out half, and replace it, like that. And I wondered whether it was the difference in salinity. Maybe their store salinity is 10.023 or 1.023. And I keep mine at 1.025, and I went too fast. You know, could be anything like that. So I don't know. I'm just going to go back to what I used to do that worked, because I never had issues back then. Detroit, after 7 years, all I have is the fox face. Lost the yellow tang last month, hippo last fall. 7 years is still too short. Oh yeah, tang injured his mouth, stopped eating, sad still. Yeah. I still don't think I'm over losing all my fish last August. when I watch some of the videos of that tank, I have a really hard time, because that whole fish community was so well balanced. They interacted with each other. I showed a little bit of it in my farewell video for the green wrasse. And yeah, they interacted with each other, and they were jerks once in a while, but it wasn't to the point where they were like slicing each other up or biting each other or slamming into rocks or anything like that. They were just messing around. And yeah, I don't know. It happens in the hobby, and you do everything you possibly can because I mean, who wants to kill fish? But sometimes these things happen, and there's just you think you know why, and maybe you don't. But in my case, I did learn a lot from that, and that's one thing I have going on in the sump system right now is massive surface water flow because I really don't want oxygen issues to come up again. It's just so easy to go, oh yeah, well the water's flowing, it should be fine, but you really need that gas exchange at the surface to get to really provide the right kind of oxygen in that kind of environment. Let me see here. My clowns just yelled at me. Hey, Tara, nice to see you. My clowns just yelled at me. That's funny. Be speak. Oh, we have TruSkillz in the waiting room. I'll just answer a few of these questions, Erin, and we'll bring you in. Anyone know if different types of Cyphastria get along with each other, or will they fight? I've had a lot of experience with Cyphastria, and they don't fight that I've ever seen. They will grow into each other and then go vertical, and then you have a fragging opportunity because the plates don't grow onto each other. That's what I've ever seen when two types meet. I have a meteor shower that's meeting a divine mystic sunset Montipora. I feel so foolish saying the name. It's a bright red Montipora with bright blue polyps. And those two are doing the same type of thing, except the plate isn't growing upwards. It's like the edge is almost just kind of curling on itself, and it's stopped in both cases. Neither is overrunning the other. But as far as Cyphastria being adjacent, that's all I've ever noticed is that they just meet and then they curve up and grow vertically. It's the strangest thing, and it doesn't happen fast. It's almost like the Cyphastria will start growing on other edges, and the edge where it's meeting the other one just kind of really, really slows down. It's only ever increased like maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then it's almost like it just stops. It's very weird. Don't pellets lose their vitamin C after opening the jar? From what I heard, they made a video. Their health for the fish. Yeah, and yet somebody else. I mean, the garlic smell of Salcon makes me wonder. Somebody said garlic used too much garlic is not good for the fish. So who knows? All I know is I've been doing it for probably 4 or 5 years. And my fish, I like to have them fat and healthy, and they've always been healthy. I haven't had sickness issues with my fish. So, yeah. It keeps salinity very low. What are we talking about now? Okay. Hey, Broke Reef Man 45. Nice to see you. Many sizes of fish, love them. Try the TDO pellets from Reef Edition. I think it's weird. These sizes, fish love. Oh, cool. Oh, we got Hector in. Yeah, yellow tang brought back pain of loss of the hippo. These are family to me. Yeah. Johnny Martinez, how long do you have to leave rocks in water to cure? I don't know if there's actually like a set time. I considered mine cured when I could feel slime on them when I touched them. And I have 3 totes of them right now in salt water, and I have a whole bunch of them in the actual sump system. And the ones that have been curing the longest are now kind of a brown color. And there's some algae growing on some that are getting a little bit of light, but it's just the surface algae. You know, they're green. There's nothing three-dimensional about the algae. They've just turned green. And I don't know, those have been curing since August, the ones that are brown now. The others I've had curing for anywhere from, most of them have been about a month and a half now, 5 weeks maybe. And the last bit have been about 2 weeks. So, you know, I would say you'll know when you look at them, and they kind of go a grayish beige color, or you feel them and there's, like, you can tell there's something on the surface, because you know how you pick up those dry rocks and they're really chalky and super desiccating on your skin. Like, my hands always get really dry when I handle that Marco rock. And you pick them up out of the water where they're curing, and you can tell right away there's a surface coating all over them. Especially if you add bacteria, you know that it's in there and it's on the rocks. And I don't know, I was thinking when I started all this of about 3 months, trying to make sure I was able to keep them just in water, in the dark, with heated circulating water for about 3 months. And if my tank doesn't get here soon, it's going to be longer than 3 months, but that's another story. Okay, it's organic. Let's see. Until they stop bleaching. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. And if you're looking for a video to watch, Fish of Hex has a video on exactly that, curing rocks. And what he does, which is basically a 50% water change periodically. I think it might be like every 2 weeks or so. I haven't been doing that. I have done a couple water changes, but not consistently. And I do my best to make sure I top up with fresh water so the salinity doesn't go through the roof. You'd be surprised how quick the salinity, how quick the evaporation happens, even with a covered container. I guess because I have a couple openings, because my square containers went round and now the lids don't fit. So there's a couple of openings where the air gets through. But I would suggest you look for that, because he has a whole process that he goes through. And TruSkillz, that reminded me of the videos that he has, or that video, because essentially it's like cycling your tank, where it gets ammonia, then nitrite, then nitrate. In the case of rocks, curing rocks, it depends on the type of rock you put in, whether it's Pucani, that's quite dirty with dead organics that have to be cleared away, or whether it's just the white base rock that essentially is sterile. And I don't know what organics it would leach, but there might be something just even from being in the environment. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Fletcher Wright. All right, let me bring in these two guests, TruSkillz and Hector. Hey, Aaron.
Ooh, what up? I thought I had my camera better, but I guess my back mount moved a little bit.
Hey, Hector.
What up, Hector?
What's going on?
Is that a yellow chorus wrasse?
Yes.
Yes.
Outstanding. I guess I didn't catch that last time.
Oh, yeah. Looking for my headphones. Can't find them. I'm going crazy.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I just had to unplug my thing because I realized you guys are probably talking and I couldn't hear you. How is the sound? Is there an...
You're coming through perfectly fine.
Yep.
Oh, good. So you guys aren't hearing yourselves or anything like that?
Yes,
Negative.
you can hear yourself.
Cool. All right.
But yeah.
So
the whole entire thing what you were just talking about, yes, they're not going to leach dead organics and such of that nature. What they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up leaching phosphates and other like trace elements and such of that nature that would kind of feed the algae growth.
Yeah, that's true, because I mean, there are all kinds of those elements bound up If it's an ancient reef, there's going to be that stuff in there. Yeah. Yep. But all I know is the ones that I have had going since August they look like regular reef tank rocks, and they've never had hair algae. No, that's not true. They have. Very early on, when I had them in the holding tank, when I first started it up, and I decided to put them in there so the fish had some kind of structure until I brought the reef over, they did get some hair algae, and the mollies took care of it. And then I put them in the tub to cure, and it went away.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're ready to go.
See if I can bring this camera angle up for you guys. We got some additions.
Oh, you did. Let's see what they are, and then let's look at Hector's tank. Oh, and there's AlexG. Let me bring AlexG in so that he can chat and comment. Oh,
there we go.
Hey,
what up, Alex? You're muted. Oh, there you go.
You look like you're lying down.
It might be.
Oh, he is.
How you doing, Alex?
Doing good.
That's good. That's good.
Just, taking in the scenery.
Outstanding.
So, Aaron, you said you got some additions.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, I guess the first time I hit the order up from Aqua SD, I guess I wasn't paying attention to their ad, and I hit it pre-live sale, and then I hit it live sale, and the differences are crazy.
In what way?
Pre-live sale, Recordia, single head. It's fairly sizable. If it was to spread out, probably the muscle patch on your thumb and palm of your hand. Okay. And that's fully extended out, fully flattened everything. Okay. Got this one from the live sale.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's going to do this focusing nonsense again.
Oh, that looks like it's 2 or 3.
This head wraps all the way around. That mouth and that mouth are the same head. And there is one, it's kind of hard to see it, but it's on this side. I might be able to get a top-down view. Ooh, oh yeah. And then while I was trying to move some of my rock around last night, one of my vases come down from right here and snap.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That
snapped right in front of my head.
Oh my.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
safe. Wow.
Okay, let's see if I can get it. Oh, I actually thought about this. I have a waterproof phone.
Oh, cool. Mine is too. I can actually put it under as long as it's not for too long. And Karen's motion, yes, it is a Coral Beauty.
If you have a S20 or an S20 Ultra, it's something like 30 or 35 minutes and like 40 meters.
Oh, really?
Yes. Like I've legitly left my phone in the tank and went outside and had a cigarette. And then come back in and pull my phone out of the tank.
That's cool.
Wow.
But all right, here we go. But as you see it, there's one on this side that's just as big as that one. And this one is 4 times that size.
Oh my.
And this one was cheaper.
Oh.
So you think that before the live sale they're more expensive than the live sale?
Even with the discount that they had, it's a serious difference. I'm not saying it's bad, but there's a difference. Like their live sale compared to what I got, like you can see the size of this thing.
Yeah. So better deals on the live sale.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. Cool.
Like this has got, oh, I just thought about this. I might be able to get it. I can't see the angle I'm looking at though.
You got, we see like an octo spawn.
Ooh. Shouldn't be looking at the octo spawn. All right, I'm angling too far.
is there a bunch of stuff? Is it bubbles in your tank?
Yeah, it's from the protein skimmer.
Oh no, that's okay. I just wondered if it was that or something
I thought
living.
it was copepods.
Yeah.
There actually are. Me and my wife saw them, a whole bunch of them yesterday. I started to clean the glass, and I'm like, wait. She's like, what are all these white dots? And I actually started looking, and they started running around.
Yeah. Are they like tiny like dust? Because I think those are rotifers. I get those all the time. It's cool. So Aaron,
Like, it doesn't look like much.
Yeah, we could
But-
see them though.
Itty bitty
Yeah.
up on the
Yeah.
glass.
yeah, I think those are rotifers.
Well, I
That's
do dose the phytoplex. So I mean, I could have a lot of stuff, because after I always get corals put in the tank, there's a whole load of life that just appears.
wow.
I think I got a brittle star in this one too.
So Aaron, Taryn's Little Ocean is thinking of getting a Coral Beauties. Can you maybe give her some advice?
This will be my first one in 10 years, and if it pecks at anything, be quick, yank it out. Because if it pecks at anything, it's going to continuously do it.
Yeah.
All right, the other thing I got was this nice octospawn.
That is beautiful.
Nice.
Give
Pink.
you a size reference.
Yeah.
I really like octospawn. They
Mhm.
just look so fluffy and luxurious.
Well, see, this is the first time I've ever had an octospawn, and I didn't know they were walls.
Oh,
I thought they were branching.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, it's a full bore wall.
Yeah.
They grow slow, but it's one of those things where you kind of look away and 6 months later the thing's
Oof.
1/3 bigger.
Yeah. Then we got some pipe Oregon.
Nice.
This was the freebie they gave me. It's kind of orange and gold-ish.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can kill the blues. Turn up the lights real quick. Turn off the protein skimmer and get rid of these bubbles. Oh, there we go.
That's
All
like
right, do-do-do.
something.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, my tank does that. All right, see, I can't zoom in with it either. I mean, it looks like a Cyphastria, but I could be wrong. It's a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch plug? No, 1/2 inch plug.
Does it have any visible, like Cyphastria, the mouths of the polyps are usually fairly close together?
Like, I can't tell if there's mouths, but it's been in the tank for 2 days now,
There's some
and I'm
type of
starting to
pavona.
see a whole bunch of itty bitty dots on the top side. They're fairly spread out, and they look like mouths, but I can't tell. I've never had this type of coral. So, and then I got a matted.
In
Go ahead.
Pavona, maybe?
I've had pavonas before, and it
Yeah.
doesn't look like one. It doesn't look like like a juniper bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Leptastria,
Oh
maybe?
yeah.
See, I was,
That's what I was thinking.
Leptoceras?
and see, that was the one thing when I pulled it out and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is either a Cyphastria, a Leptocyrus.
Yeah.
It's one of them, but I have a better picture of when the polyps started extending,
Mhm.
but for the most part, it's kind of hard to picture unless I actually physically get in the tank.
It could also be some type of Monty. Like just the skin is so smooth looking.
Mm-hmm.
See, but that's the thing though. To you guys, it looks smooth. To me, it's coarse.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Oh, cool. Or one of a zillion different kinds of chalices, although how you
Yeah.
describe the polyps, I'm not really sure.
The best way I can explain that is like you guys see it as like leather. It almost looks like green star polyp before the heads emerge.
Okay.
Boy, my phone's not charging. My phone's dying.
So lots
Come
of, oh
on.
no.
That's never a good thing.
No, it's not.
And this is the fun, right? You get to watch that and see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to turn the phone like this for a while.
And then unfortunately, I had some Zoes. They were the freebie in the first order, but for some reason I can't find them. I took them off the frag plug and I put them in one of the rocks up there in like one of the holes. And yeah, couldn't tell you. So I got zoes floating around my tank somewhere.
Yeah, I guess you'll find out. Do you have hermit crabs? Maybe you put them in on top of a hermit crab and they didn't like it.
I've got, oh, nope, found them.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay.
But yeah, I do have a couple of hermit crabs, yeah.
If those zoas have any, like if they've attached themselves to any of the sand, and this is what I've noticed, if you just put a tiny dab of glue on the sand part and put them on a small piece of rubble or whatever, they will attach themselves to that. I find them really hard to get to stick when I just put them on a frag plug or a piece of rock, unless they've already attached themselves, even just to a couple grains of sand.
It come in on a, oh, why this focus on my phone is killing me. I had to catch myself there, sorry. But it come in on a chunk of rubble.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So, but it's just, where is it going to eventually stick?
Well, if you have any gel cyanoacrylate glue, like the dollar stuff with the green package, if you've ever used it, it doesn't take much to just put a dot of it on and get it stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Over the years, I've learned a lot of different things about
minor tricks and tips.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then last night, I decided to uncluster a portion of this, and there's actually 10 babies now.
Oh boy.
Well, 9 babies, and let's see if it'll pick it up.
What color are they? They're mushrooms, right? You were saying last?
Yeah, they kind of look like hairy mushrooms, but they're not hairy.
Okay.
It's weird, but they present as a hairy mushroom, but they don't have like the polyp extension of a hairy mushroom.
Right. Well, that just could be because of the conditions with the algae and everything.
Well, that was prior to me buying them.
Oh, I see.
So, I mean, they still, it's kind of hard. I wish I could actually zoom in with this.
You know,
but
rhodactis mushrooms have fairly hairy little furry patches on them.
Like this first one, you can see the pattern of the mushroom.
Yeah. 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 I wonder.
And they only light it under blues. Like during whites and everything else, they're brown like this.
Yeah.
But when the whites go out and the blues come on, it's just, they're perfectly like neon green and brown.
Oh, cool.
It's crazy.
It looks like a lot less algae on there. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. I sat there for,
yeah,
I'm going to say a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We had just got a baby brush, a new one, because our old one was going out. And I'm like, hey, are we still using this? No? All right. I'm going to sit here and scrub the rocks with it for the next 10 minutes.
You know what? It is noticeably different from what I remember from last week, because comparing it to the green one on the right, last week, same kind of color, just not as much of the rock covered.
Well, I also did I moved my rock. So for those that weren't here last week, that was nice and green like this.
Yep.
Nice solid fur algae.
Man, oh man. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have that all over the top end of my pillar rocks, the Texas Holy Rock.
But my little beautiful scaper over here is scaping just nicely. And to show how thick this stuff is, I pulled down the sand bed last night. It's growing directly into here. When I went to go do the rock workaround, the portion of the rock that's touching right here from this rock, it's already grown completely onto it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to put that somewhere else in the tank. I'm going to just keep that rock there.
Yeah. Hey, straight reefer. Glad you could make it. Cool. Well, that's good. So let's see what Hector's been doing.
Yep.
Is Hector there? Oh, there he is. There's the tank. The tank that's been through hell and back.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yep.
Tell
Hey,
me about it.
Aaron Marcus Aerolis says, it looks cool though. If it's not a problem, it's a good blenny throne.
Oh, yeah. He posts up on it consistently, too.
Hey, Chimp the Reefer. Yeah. So, Hector, this tank is looking good.
It's getting there. It's getting there. It's
Yeah.
been rough. Getting into where it's at right now. And trying to learn more few things along the way.
Yeah.
I learned today that I'm burning my corals.
Oh, too much light.
Oh yeah, the parts
boy.
is crazy.
Yikes. Hey, Pappy Reefer.
I mean, they doing good. They're not dying. They're not getting burned, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I put the right parts on them, in some spots I'm getting over 700.
Oh,
Lord Jesus.
Yeah,
and that's
in
from
the
the
middle of the tank I'm getting
Yeah.
400.
Is that
If nothing's doing bad, I just leave it alone.
Leave it alone, right? Okay. Yeah.
And Hector, what lights are they? Is that the pixie lights?
The Noopsy.
The Nooksy?
The Noopsy, yeah.
Oh, the
Noopsy
No Psyche? Those ones?
Oh, this one right here. I only have one. Imagine if I put two.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And you got the Orphex on there too.
Yeah, yeah. And
How do you like those? What do you think?
I love them.
Yeah, me too. I'm so impressed with the build quality and just everything.
Yeah. I really love the Orphex. I'm trying to change the other OR2 to the OR3s because the pop is more blue, deep blue than the other ones are more like tuna blue.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So finally I met somebody around my area. Be in the streams, be around so a lot, and it's helping me a lot with the tank. Show me how to use a doser.
That's awesome.
Yep, in 10 years, never knew how to use a doser, so I got it set up for like a week to see if it's gonna run the way it's supposed to.
Yep.
With just water from one container to another.
Yep.
And see how it goes. So I
see, that's my big fear.
Yeah, so I can finally make the transition from running in the RO container to just dosing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, hey, MB Reef. I'm late to show my tank. No, you're not late.
You're not late.
You're not
we
late.
might be in this thing for 2+ hours. Who knows?
Yeah, no kidding. So MB, if you send me here, I'll put the banner up for you. If you send me an email, and then if I don't see your email, please remind me because everybody knows that happens once in a while. And I'll send you out the link to come in. Hey, Peter M. You're in Croatia, if I remember right, from last week.
Let me get out for a second, Cindy, because I think it's my phone that make that noise.
Okay, all right, and then you come back.
Yeah, I don't know if you hear it, but
yeah, it's kind of.
I do. It sounds like your fingers rubbing across the mic.
Yeah. Give me a sec. I'll jump in a sec.
Okay. Right. Then what we'll do is we'll talk to Alex because I think Alex has big news.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
I'm just hanging out.
I'm just hanging out. Okay, are you actually upside down?
No.
I know where you are.
Nice.
You're in the casket tank. You've been planning this for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
This is hilarious. Hey, Drama D. John Davis.
No more.
Oh, boy. So if you're in the casket tank, then the contents of the casket tank must be somewhere else.
Yes, but I'm not going to show you that tank first. We're going to look at this one first.
Ooh, okay. Now, this is the 700, And I know that because it's got the red light.
Yep. I put my Kessel on here too, so I got that, and then I threw in. Well, I had 3 pieces of egg crate in there, so they all came in here to grow some algae.
Yep. And so this is, you're doing this on purpose?
Yes.
Hey, Marcus's Reef. Wow. So you put the egg crate in to see how, like, whether it would grow algae?
Oh, I know it will. It's just that, so there's a 4, 8, 2. There's like 9,000 gallons of flow per hour in this tank. So with those egg crates being in there, they're getting a nice flow on them. That's why they're not up and down. They already got some hair algae on them.
Yeah.
So it'll be a great starting substrate for the algae to get going in the refugium.
No kidding. It's like a 700-gallon algae scrubber.
Yep. So I'll probably add some rocks and stuff in here eventually, and I'm gonna probably add more lights as the main display comes on. But for right now, there should be a great surface area for algae to get real high intense lighting from my UFO light and from my Kessel.
Yep.
So,
Cool. Oh, hey, Carlos 23. How are you? And there's Marcus's Reef. Did I say hi to Marcus? I think I did. Wow. So that's progress. Oh, there's a Spanish hogfish.
yep, he's got himself a 150-gallon palace.
Wow. He looks nice. Looks like he's in good shape.
Yeah, he's a little shy today. He's not used to people seeing him from the sides again. He's so used to me coming over from above.
Yeah.
So and then the skimmer.
Do they go through metaphor? Oh, why can I not say it?
Metamorphosis?
Yes.
He's adult colors now.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
what
yeah,
I was going after.
Yeah, they just get big. So this is just a temporary home for them. And then I know you want to see it here. Let me try and flip the camera and see if this works today.
Okay.
Front facing.
I can't believe how long you laid down in that casket waiting until. I'm surprised you didn't fall.
No.
Oh boy, that's the 400. Wow.
What are you doing, old man?
The pug. Oh wow, barren. Got a lot of corals in there though.
Look at the stuff spread out. And the
I'm telling you.
Still a little cloudy in here, but the dendro's nice and opened up, and
yeah. And did you just move this today?
yeah, I spent 12 hours basically doing this because my alkalinity it's a lot higher in here than it was in the other tank. So I was doing acclimation for about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Jiminy Christmas.
So
Marcus's Reef says he just came out from under his crawl space again for the last time this time. Floor is secure and should be ready for water in a week or two. Cool. Yeah, I know what a journey that's been.
let me try changing my camera again because I'm on the wide angle. Let me try and go to camera.
See, that was my problem the first time I did the camera. It gave me 3 or 4 selections because of my phone, and I didn't know which one to pick.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking
There we
about
go.
too many choices for pantyhose that night. I remember that.
Ooh,
There we
wrong
go.
one.
That's a little better.
Ooh.
So some
Sandworm.
things are a little bleached out, not very happy, and just gonna take some time. Hopefully everything will recover okay. But the bounce mushroom's nice and happy though.
That's what matters. So the bubble coral, did you have to lift it right out of the water? I mean, it's so hard with your tanks to know the sizes of things. And, did it fit Yeah, in that. You
So-
wouldn't been able to put it in a 5-gallon pail, right? Because it's too big.
Yeah, the bubble coral. Unfortunately, the bubble corals had quite a bit of recession from moving twice. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that some stability and better environment will
Yeah.
help it bounce back. But we'll see. And then
We lost
But-
Aaron.
bubble coral went in the bin, and then I filled it up so it wasn't exposed to air, because the first time I moved it, the one part that did is what died first.
Oh,
So-
geez. Yeah.
I broke my own rule with them, but I didn't have this smaller tote. I had a much bigger one, and it probably
Yeah.
weighed over 100 pounds when I tried to pick it up. And
Oh, man.
this is more manageable.
Yeah.
So, but the bubble's not doing too bad. It's still pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll give it some time, see what it does, and then most of the branching euphyllias are not doing too bad. A lot of them are opened up pretty good. A few of them had been kind of overturned because the Spanish hog liked to rearrange everything like 3 times a day.
Yeah, I had a fish like that.
Bounce is looking good.
Yep. Marcus Aurelus is wondering, Alex, if you plan to use amino acids.
I've dabbled with them here and there, so I'm thinking just because everything's brand new water, I'm probably gonna let it go for a bit and just start feeding, and then I'll probably try to get some live phytoplankton going, and let that be my amino acid source.
Yeah.
So
Oh, hawkfish. Yay! The hawkfish.
yeah, the hawkfish and you can kind of see the 2 clowns there. Their
Yeah.
sea anemone is under. Well, it's kind of in the rock now. It took a little walk today,
Okay.
but the
That's
bubble
never a
coral.
good thing.
This whole shelf with all the coral on it, I kept submerged because last time I took this species of xenia out of the water, it did not fare very well, so I kept it submerged.
Yeah.
I'm happy this one's coming back too. They're not easy to get a hold of.
Yeah. It's big. Like that piece of rock, the flat piece is, what is that? Like
Yeah.
18 inches across?
How much?
About 18 inches across, that whole
Yeah, because those tiles. Yeah, it's
Oh,
12-inch tiles and at an angle. Yeah, it's probably about 18.
I never thought
And
of
then
tiles. That's a
the
good.
Gorgonian, I kept this submerged too, just out of habit. But this thing is actually probably doubled in size since it's been in my temp tank.
I have one of those, and I fragged it, and it came back in no time, and now it's just as big as it was before I fragged it. I never did do the Gorgonian fragging video. I have all the videos to do it. I've just never put it all together. Those things, when they're happy, man, do they grow fast.
Yeah, it's over here that it's got Tracy Morgan's its name, and then I'm really hoping this comes back. I got one little piece of my one macro that survived. Even all the tangs and stuff I kept, most of it was eaten, but there's a little bit left, so I'm hoping this bounces back.
Yeah, is that the red stuff?
Yeah.
That looks like a red dragon.
No, this is another one. It's very difficult to get a hold of.
Gotcha.
It's like a chain of pearls. It's like a bictoidal, but a different form of it.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so things are looking pretty good over here. It's gonna take a while. I mean, my pink stereonepthia back there is still a little unhappy about the move today, but surprisingly, everyone else is doing good.
Yeah.
And I finally fixed my one MP40 that was really annoying me. So
Cool.
I got to play disassembly today on it to fix it.
Oh, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, it seems that the magnet inside wasn't spinning with the motor, so
Oh,
That's never a good thing.
so you've got egg crate on these returns there, or are they overflows?
yeah, those are my Sorry, it's a bit of a mess back here right now. Yeah, these are my
Your
these
pat-
are my early morning creations when I was like, I don't feel like making overflow boxes, but I don't want a fish going down a 2-inch line.
No, because
Yeah.
who knows how many miles it has to travel before you'll see them.
Well, they're
Yeah,
either
no
going to go
kidding.
in here and go in here, or get stuck in there that's partially open,
Yeah.
and then have to go all the way back. And then they might go for a ride in the
Christmas.
skimmer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yeah.
See, that's a future plan. You have my life goal: turn the basement into a tank.
Wow.
Well, this is just the filtration room, so
My point. Because then you just got to put a 1, 2, 3, 4-inch hole through the floor, and everything goes upstairs to the main display.
no, my display will be all this plumbing that's going up to this wall right here. This 4-inch line and the one below it are going to be going through that wall at some point. So,
Christmas.
but yeah, everything's been working out pretty good though, and I was shocked last night because this migration started last night because I needed to pull the light rack off the temporary tank. I needed to
Nice, Jason.
cut it down because it was too big.
Yeah.
I reorientated the lights because I only had 4 going long ways and I wanted to put 6 on. So I changed the angle of them. I rehung the rack. I put all the lights on, did all the cable management last night. And then I had my Apex basically working just to run a couple lights and as a Refugium light timer. So I had to install that, and to my surprise, it actually still kept all the programming of the Radions in it, and I didn't have to reprogram any of them.
Oh, that's
Nice.
awesome. You're a machine, Alex.
Yeah, I do got to clean up though. I got to get a better Ethernet cable because it got a little dicey at about 1 a.m. last night when I was like, I need to talk to this thing and I don't have an internet connection. So
Yeah.
That's always fun.
yeah, but I got the power bar on, and then I had one long Aquabus cable, so my WXM module that'll still control these is right next to them all, so shouldn't have a problem with the Wi-Fi signal.
Nice. That is cool. Yeah, it's amazing the progress you have made. Wow.
Yep, and I got my 2 gyres running in here just the way they were before with the 1 return and then 2 MP40s back here. So this tank's cranking. I feel like I own an aquarium again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's got to feel good. So now that you've reached this point, what's sort of next in the plan?
So I'm gonna probably give myself a couple days to breathe. Since I've been going,
Maybe see your wife.
I'm running on like 4 hours sleep, and I've been going for like over 12 now. So between the coffee and my celebratory drinks that I'm having right now, I'm gonna sleep well tonight.
Ain't gonna crash nice and healthy tonight.
I'm surprised you didn't fall asleep in the casket while you were waiting.
I actually was going to take a nap before the live stream, but I had to cut the grass. So I'll give it a few days, and then I'm going to tear this tank down.
With great glee.
Yes, because this thing's almost worth its weight in gold and lumber right now.
You're not
it's so expensive.
You could put a kid through college with that.
I know. So this is going to get disassembled, and I'm going to I should have more than enough vertical 2x4s. They're taller than they need to be here, so I'll have to cut them.
Yeah.
But I should have more than enough to build my secondary sump, at least the frame, most of the frame for it.
Yep.
And that is going to go where the chair is.
Oh, okay. So you decided that finally. You were wondering last time.
I really got to like frame it out because I'm about 99% sure it's going to be 48 inches wide and 10 feet long.
Oh my God.
And then it's going to be the same height as the other sump right here.
Oh, man.
So how many gallons is that? I can't even figure that out in my head.
This one's 265.
Oh, 265, even if it's 10 feet long.
Oh, no. This one's 6 feet by 3 feet by 24.
Oh, okay.
So.
And the new one's going to be 4 by 10 by what?
20. Well, there'll be 24 inches of water space in it to match.
Yeah, you're looking at like an additional like 500 and plus some odd gallons easily.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I just saw a puddle of water on the floor and I was freaking out for a second, but I just realized that's from a spill I had earlier. So
the adrenaline rush that occurs during reefing.
Well, so
where'd that water come from?
When I felt it and it was ice cold, I was like, oh, I know where that's from. So my wife came down to visit me today, and while I was acclimating, I basically was taking 15 gallons of water out of the temporary tank, dumping 5 of it, and then taking 10 gallons out of here and dumping it back into that tank, and the 10 gallons I took from the temp tank, I dumped in here.
Right.
And my wife came down.
Movement.
My wife came down and I was filling buckets off my bucket fill, and I turned around to say hi and I forgot I had the water valve open, so I kind of turned around to a couple gallons on the floor, and she's like, great, water on the floor. What are you doing down here?
Yeah, what a way to put a strike up on the bad side, man.
I told her, I said it was our dog's fault because he distracted me.
You're like, hey,
So
he's getting old. I don't know what to tell you.
he's a puppy, so. But you see, now the paranoia about that water on the floor is going to make me double check.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I'm good now.
See, that's what I was saying.
The number of times that well, for example, in our basement, the PEX, because the humidity was up a little bit when the temperature was really warm outside, and of course the plumbing for the house goes through the joists. I want to say rafters, joists, and there was some condensation, and I'm leaning over the tank and it's dripping on the back of my neck, and I'm going, where's this water coming from? Because I imagined that something was happening with the shallow 50 splashing out or whatever.
Gotcha.
And it's just condensation off the PEX, so not copper. But it doesn't happen very often. It's only once or twice.
In the middle of winter, before I had the big dehumidifier, I was getting some condensation when I ran the RO.
Yeah.
Because the cold water lines, well, the water line was just so cold. So, but yeah, so I officially now am the proud operator of a monster aquarium system once again.
Yay! Good for you. Hey, I've got MB Reef and Lynn Reef Nerd in the waiting room. I'm going to bring those guys in and then we'll finish your tour, okay, Alex?
Go for it.
Cool. And then we'll talk to MB and Lynn. There's MB Reef. Welcome. And Lynn. And we're going to continue Alex's tour. And MB Reef, you know, if you haven't been here before, I need to ask you the troll question. So it's not hard.
Yes.
So Alex,
here we go.
This tank is the 400.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the next thing I got to do is deal with my aptasia problem that's been out of control since I've moved out of my house in September of last year. So, that's going to be fun.
Yep.
I'm really thinking I'm going to order some Bergia to deal with that problem.
Yeah, I've heard lately people having really good success with those.
They worked for me really well last time, and the only reason it didn't completely get them out of the system is there were a couple stragglers. There was one on my overflow pipe that they would have never been able to get to, and a couple in like a sump.
Yeah.
So, but I think in here, now that the Spanish hog is out, I'm gonna get some cleanup crew. I'm gonna try to get some snails, and I'm still. I think I'm gonna wait a while before I get a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd really like to get a fox face, and I don't know, maybe I would consider maybe getting one of those Aptasia eating filefish too, to see how they work, because I've never tried one.
Yeah, I've heard they can also be hit and miss, but I think the good thing about them is that they will eat other stuff once they run out of Aptasia, if I'm thinking of the right fish.
Yeah, I've heard some interesting things that they'll eat, like they might potentially eat like vermitid snails and stuff too. So.
Oh, really? I heard zoanthus.
Yeah, I had a friend that had one. His zoo colony decided to disappear, and all his snails just
Well,
died over roughly about a 6-month process.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, is that a border terrier?
No, this is the old man Puggle. What are you doing, old man?
Nice. And what's his name again?
Gizmo.
Gizmo, but that's not his real name.
No, Gizmo's his real name.
Why was I thinking you called him Gizmo and you said one time it wasn't his real name? I like his
No,
logo.
I call him like 50 other things. Gizmo's his actual name.
Okay.
He could be Whoopers.
Uh-huh.
Old man.
Whiny, barks a lot. The mutt. I mean, one of many normals.
I used to call my dog Whoopi. I have no idea why. Don't know where that came from. Hey, Deep Reef. Deep Reef says takes care of the Aptasia and eats anything else like a pig. Oh, he's talking about his filefish. His filefish does not touch zoos or clams or anything, but takes care of the Aptasia. Cool.
Oh, you're lucky, Deep.
Oh, Lynn Reef Nerd said she got one from Moki, inappropriate reefer. He started to eat LPS too. Now he's in the acro tank.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could say is that if it didn't work out, I could relocate him to the 150.
Yeah.
And he'll get banished with the Spanish hog for now.
Yeah. Isn't it awesome to have those choices though? I mean, I feel I have that option now with the 4 stock tanks. And I was seriously considering putting the mollies up in the shallow 50 because there's a little bit of algae in there, but not much. Yeah.
It gives you a lot more comfort in knowing that if you buy a riskier fish that you know might not work out, you could always move them. And like,
yeah.
I did that with my rabbit fish had to be moved. My red cigar wrasse had to go. And then I had a little baby trigger I bought and I threw in the reef for a while that he was eating some vermitids and some things I didn't want in there, which was good. But then when he decided to bully everybody, he got thrown into the big boy tank and suddenly wasn't so tough anymore.
Oh, Hector says, I guess par is not a problem in the tank. He's getting 400 in the middle of the rocks and 600 plus at the top.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah, that's 300 at the bottom.
That's some serious size, or not serious size, but that's some quality lights. I mean, I got a decent quality light and it puts out 75.
I don't even know where I'm at right now. I'm going to have to get the par meter out, but I turned everything down. So
cool.
I think the highest I'm running is 50% on this side, and everything else is in the 40s or high 30s.
Nice. Well, this is going to be cool. And so the rocks and everything you've got in here, Are you going to kind of essentially use this as a grow out tank and take frags and install them in the display? Or, I mean, other than the bubble coral, I think it'd be pretty hard to do that, but.
So eventually, once I get to display zone, or once this settles in a bit and I can condense things, like I spread everything out pretty wide for the most part because I just wanted stuff to get a chance to open up, and
Yeah.
I'm going to start arranging some things a little bit more, like most of the euphyllias can all go get packed together. And the softies can get bunched up a bit more, and like some of these rocks I might keep in here, but ultimately I'm going to probably put frag racks in. I'll probably start on the SPS side and just come this way with some.
Yeah.
So
It's nice to have the space. And I mean, looking at it from the side, man, I'm looking forward to that again.
I honestly didn't even look at the other tank very much because, well, one, I kept getting that feeling that I've already lost so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, just leave it alone, and you'll just focus on getting the build done. So
Yeah. So Marcus's Reef. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, apparently that makes YouTube recommend the stream when people are looking for lives. So the more thumbs up, the higher it goes on the recommend. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Anirudh Y has, currently I'm manually dosing 65 mils of Aquaforest 123 plus. Thinking of buying a Camor F4. Should I go ahead or think of a calcium reactor instead?
what size tank is it?
Yeah, that's the first thing I was wondering. Anirudh, if you can put in your size of tank, what kind of system you've got. Hey, Reef Keeper. Nice to see you, Phil. Hi, Reefgrrl and everyone in the chat. Thanks, Alex, for showing Gizmo. I just lost my dog, and your little guy made me smile. Yeah.
I saw that, Reefkeeper. I'm sorry for your loss. It was giving me a hard time because I had lost a dog last year.
Yeah. Yeah, people are giving Anirudh some advice. Unorthodox Reef. Hey, Unorthodox Reef. I wouldn't until you hit the 200 mil each part per day.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this system too. Like I've been reading quite a bit and just watching a lot of the videos with some of those coral farmers that have been really going after pH and using calc stirs, and I don't know. I'm thinking I might pull the trigger and get a calc stir and potentially put that on here too.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was listening to Travis's Q&A live stream where he was talking about the system, his system having trouble keeping up with alk demand, and the calcium reactors at the point where he can't drop the pH anymore and keep a safe range because it's kind of as low as it can go and not affect his tank. And so he's added an Avast marine calc setup.
Yeah, looking at their K2 stir right now.
Yeah. And so that's helping, I guess.
I actually have to know what the pH is in my system because I threw out my pH probes because they were old.
Yeah.
Like, that might be on tomorrow's shopping list if they got them at the store.
Cool. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy. Oh, there's Gizmo again, fella. Love the
Where's
underbite.
your brother at?
Yeah, where's the other one? I like his tail. So often,
Definitely.
tail.
That's definitely a face only a parent would love.
Yeah. It's like my daughter's dog, the French bulldog. I think she's got pug in her somewhere.
I believe that's where they come from.
Yeah, probably.
Trying to see if the other one will come downstairs. I think he's being lazy and sleeping in the bed.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alex. This is
No.
good, and I'm thrilled for you because I know what a struggle it's been.
Oh, I'm happy to share. And I was gonna do a last video before I did it, and the only thing that I did I have to make a reefing confession here is that I did an ICP test to get my water to know my water was good before I added salt, but my patience I just couldn't handle it, and I started adding salt before I got my ICP test. So I gambled away about 800 gallons of salt mix before I got the results.
And
It was a clean test. There was no problems. But
oh, good.
I was like, this is really gonna suck if this isn't good, because this is it's gonna start not being cheap.
Yeah. It's one of those seemed like a good idea at the time things that ended up working out okay. Marcus Arelis says, as dedicated as you are, you should invest in a lab grade portable pH. I think he's talking to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably see, just because I don't know, the ones I've used on the Apex, once they're calibrated, haven't been too bad before. But
Yeah.
I think for me the more important thing is going to be just making sure I'm calibrated, and that might be a solution I eventually go to, is getting a second spot test that I could do,
Yeah.
especially to test different parts of the tank, because it's such a big system.
Yeah. Anirudh says he has a 110 gallon, but as all of us here, the plan to upgrade is all I think about.
Oh, it's a consistent thing that drives my wife nuts.
I never thought I would have a chance to sorry about that. I never thought I'd have a chance to have a giant tank. And I mean, if it ever gets here, and I'm looking at 600 gallons of water when the whole thing is up and running roughly. And that's way beyond what I ever thought I would be able to do. But, life changes, and we had our grandson come along, and it gave us a really good reason to move house. And, it just kind of like a domino effect. You start looking at priorities, and one of them was a fish room that would work with a basement sump. And here we are.
See, that's my goal, is to be able to put everything in the basement and then run 2 pipes.
Yeah.
Outgoing and return line. That's all I need, and give me a 6-foot space on the main floor. That's it. I'll put everything else downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, I love that it's all downstairs. I walk down there, and it's a big open space, but there's still way too much stuff crammed in there. And that's partly because it's temporary, and the way things are rigged up will change once the tank is actually up and running. Because of course we need life support down there for the corals, meaning lights over tanks and all that kind of stuff. So we have MB Reef and Lynn. So maybe we should talk to MB Reef, if you don't mind, Lynn. And
Oh no, I want to see his tank. You're good.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions.
Cool. Cool. Hey, Andy, I'm going to make you full screen, and I'm going to give you the troll question. Oh, wait, I can't. Everybody has to see me in the troll glasses, or it doesn't count.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. This is tonight's troll glasses.
I don't think he has enough zones.
So,
all right, here we go.
You are shipwrecked. Well, you're stranded on a desert island. You have everything you need to survive, no question there. And you're digging around in the stuff, and you find some scuba gear, and as luck would have it, you know how to use it. So you noticed also there's a coral reef off the island, and so you get out there and you take a look, and you find there's only one type of coral and only one species of fish. What would you wish that would be? I think you're muted there, MB, if you're talking. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
What is the question again? Sorry about that.
No problem. You're shipwrecked or stranded on a desert island, and you have everything you need to survive. And in amongst all that stuff, you find out there's some scuba gear, and you know how to use it, and you're thrilled because you noticed there was a coral reef just off the island. So you get out there and you discover that there's only one kind of coral and only one species of fish. And what would you hope that would be?
Wow. that's a tricky question right there.
So if there was only one, what would you hope it would be?
Wow. I can say
If it makes
I don't know. I don't know.
If it makes you feel better,
Just say fire coral. That's a popular choice.
It's too many stuff running right now, so I don't know which one. Which one I have to decide.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
So right now in your tank, what's your favorite coral?
My favorite coral is basically the psoas.
The psoas, nice. Okay, well there you go.
The tang is mixed because I have acros, I have torches, I have hammers, I have leather corals, but basically the psoas, they are amazing.
Nice. So this is a mixed reef. It's beautiful.
Yes, I have acros there.
Hey, Alex, Marcus's Reef says, I've never seen Alex relax on any of these streams, and I've been watching for a long time. Like a shark, he has to keep moving. Hey, Johnny Martinez. Yep, Johnny says, Alex, you've done a lot for the short time frame. Cool. Oh, hey, Casey Wagner. He says pulsing xenia and clownfish. So what's the story of this tank? What size is it? Everyone will wonder what lights you're running, how long
basically, everything I have is really simple. I don't have anything it's 75 gallons. The lights I'm running is the black box. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
My sump is at 20 gallons. I make my own. So
nice.
I don't have anything special. So basically, I'm running my tank simple. I have the dozer. So I don't have anything like expensive or something like that. Everything is simple. But
looks like you got Cato growing down there too.
Yes. So basically, everything's looking good. I don't need to buy anything really, really expensive.
You've got a lot of your zoas really high on the rocks. Are they ones that like more light versus some that like less light?
Yes, because they open all the way. So they like the right now my lights is not too high, and they like the lights like that.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's on the other side of your tank? Are those lobos or some kind of euphilia on the left side?
In the left side, I have Ophelia
okay.
Here. Yeah, the torches. I have more on the bottom here. Elegant corals.
Oh, I like the elegance.
Yes, that's elegant right there. That's another one here.
Nice color.
Yes, I have a pavona between the psoas inside there.
I love those corals.
That's a potato chip style. One of those leafy ones.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
So I have a burnet right there. the middle. So candy cane, mushroom here. The acan all the way over here. Duncans.
Yeah. I think I have an acan like that. It's kind of an orangey color with a blue ring and a yellow mouth.
Yes.
How long have you had that Ancan?
Excuse me?
How long have you had that Ancan?
This one is I can say like 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
Yeah, and this one is very different. This one is kind of red.
Yep. Nice. Hey, Shahid Khan. Welcome. Yeah, Reef Keeper says it's true. I've seen Alex many times with hearing and eye protection, always cutting or working on something. You're one of a kind, Alex. It's so true.
he's always working, cutting woods.
I gotta exploit the time that my wife allots me.
Phil, Reef Keeper has a question for you, MB.
Yeah.
Have you had any zoas that overtook the others and crowded them out? Because he's lost a few because of overcrowding.
Yes. This one right here, it was a plug with 2 zoats, and they take over all these right here.
Mm.
Yeah, they grow really, really, really fast.
Are those the ones that look kind of like a Halle Berry, but they're not a zoa, they're a pally?
Yeah, poly.
I know which ones you're talking about. I had some of those too. Someone's like, "Oh, these grow really fast. They'll be great for you."
No, they not. They different. They 3 different. This one I think is the Mahawk, Soa, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not good learning the names of the coral, so this one I think is like the galaxy or something like that. I see
Pink galaxies.
in galaxies. Yeah.
Yep. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah. And
then,
when you have too many stuff,
Yeah, and then you'll come to like 3 different coral vendors that have all the same coral. But They all call them a different one, and you're like, "Well, what are they again?"
That happens to me all the time.
Well, those look like Bam Bams there.
Oh yeah, this one. Yep.
Ooh, what's that? What's it? Is it just to the left of that really bright orange one?
This one right here.
Yeah, there's only like 3 polyps on it.
Yeah, that one is really like fluorescent pink. It's a SOA too, but I don't know the name on that one. So
Marcus Arolis said, "You buy it, you name it." I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I see the same coral with different names. Like that's why I get like kind of confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one is the Rasta right there.
And you're good at putting the colors in like an arrangement where they all sort of look nice beside each other. I'm really bad at that. I've tried. I just don't have a talent for it.
Basically, my wife she told me where to put it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the designer.
And you're such a smart man. You listen.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
How many times do you have to move the zoa just a little bit more to the left?
Sometimes you glue it and no, I don't like it there, so you have to move it somewhere. Yeah. So basically, she's the one buying stuff for the tank, because if I go by myself, I can't buy anything. Well, I have to go with her, so she chooses whatever she want to see in the tank.
Ah, that sounds like a good partnership there.
Yeah. So basically, I take care of it, and you know, when she likes something, so she buy it, and then I put it in the tank.
Yep. And are those mushrooms down where the sailfin is?
Which one?
Right by the sailfin, the red? That's mushrooms, right?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Those discosomas, or are those like a jawbreaker?
You got me there too.
No, they look like a red discosoma. They look,
Yeah, they really
got a
red.
pop to them.
Yeah, no kidding. And you've got some kind of a favia right beside it.
Yes,
Nice. And there's a blasto. Nice.
that's the blasto. Yeah, right there. That's another one here.
And a Duncan. And that is a leptastria to the left of it.
Hey, is that Blasto, a Merletti, or a Welso, or a Welsie?
I don't know the difference. Do
That's
you?
a blasto.
Well, I know that, but a Merletti, I think the Merletti is the small polyp and the Welso is the big polyp.
Yes.
And do
Okay.
the Merlettis have the contrast mouth versus the skirt, whereas the
As
Wel-
far as I understand, that could be any, but the
Right.
Merlettis are like, they're like acan heads when they're reseeded.
Okay.
Like they're small. Like
Yeah.
you could fit 4 or 5 Merletti heads in the size of that Welsie head right there that he was just pointing at.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Tony Close has a question for you, MB. How many hours do you spend on your tank in maintenance to keep it looking so good?
Everything run by themselves. I don't do much. I just clean the tank, take the water. The tank right now is running by a year already. Even a feeder for the fish I have, so I don't have, because I'm work all day. So when I came is to clean and make sure everything is right. But I don't spend so much like that. I keep my hands
Out of the tank.
out of the tanks. So
Did you say it's been running for a year?
yes, just a year.
Wow, this is quite an accomplishment for a year. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Looks really nice, and I like your philosophy there of just leaving it alone.
Yeah. So basically, another secret. I don't do water changes.
Oh, really? You're
Yep.
one of those. That's awesome. And you only have a 20-gallon sump, and you don't.
It's only 20-gallon sump. Yep.
I did see some Cato down there.
Yeah, I have Cato.
Yep.
I have Cato, and then I have it's Cato there, and then that's it. The skimmer.
Yep.
The doser.
Marcus's Reef, he said, what my girlfriend brings to the hobby is, wow, that's expensive. How much did you pay for that? Wow, that looks cool, but I don't know what I would pay for that.
It was on sale. It was in the $5 for everything.
99-cent table.
Man, hey, I got the same problem. I feel your pain.
Lynn says, yeah, I would never let my husband go with me shopping. My husband's actually really good. I mean, sometimes I hesitate because of the price of things, and he says, just get it. You know, you're going to get home and say, geez, I wish I would have bought that. Not always, but sometimes. So, MB, how long have you been in the reef keeping hobby?
I have like 8 years already.
8 years, yeah.
Yes.
And what was your first tank?
But my first tank, it was at 29 gallons.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I went up to 90, and then I went down like a years ago up to 75.
The thing about 75 is they're big, like the footprint. is really good. There's lots of space in there.
Say it again.
The thing about a 75 is they're like 3 feet wide, right?
On 4 feet.
They're 4 feet.
Yes.
So like the footprint gives you lots of space to put things.
Yes. Basically, is like a 90 gallons, but it's lower.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time my husband showed me a 75 in PetSmart, and I couldn't believe how big it was.
I wanna go to 40.
Yeah. If you're gonna go big.
I don't have no more space here.
I'm trying to remember. Is 240? Is that 8 foot by 2 foot by 30?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Nice.
It's 8 foot. Yeah.
So kind of like 4
It's
times
low.
the space you've got here, almost.
Yeah.
3.5
It's low.
times. Cool.
It's double overflow.
Wow. So what kind of salt do you use, MB?
I use instant ocean.
Yep.
Yeah. But basically, I don't use much because I don't do water change.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. So it doesn't really matter. So what do you think the reason is that you can avoid water changes? Have you got like a nutrient like how do you control the nutrients so that you don't have to do water changes?
Basically, I always keep, in track everything. I don't like to be like perfect. Sometimes stuff get very a little bit high and stuff. I always track the phosphates and stuff like that. I have the Shiro. Sometimes I use if I see the phosphate is a little bit high, I use Nopos.
Yeah.
I use Nopos. It's very rare that I use something, like to control everything. Every time I feed the fishes, I make sure it's the same amount. I don't overfeed it.
Right.
So the cleaner group that I have is really, really good. I have 4 cleaner shrimps. I have like 10 hammer crab. I have really, really they're really big. So I have emerald crab. I have snails. My cleaner crew they work hard.
Yeah.
So.
And then for dosing, what do you do for your alkalinity and all of that?
So I use Resi products. I use magnesium, KH, and calcium. And sometimes for the color, I use the 4 parts, A, B, C, D.
Oh yeah, I used to use that, and I thought it worked. It did a good job. I ran out and I didn't replace it, but for the time I used it, I thought it did a good job.
Yep. So frozen food, I give frozen food like one a week to the fishes. So basically, I use pellets. I have my feeder right here. So yeah. So it's the same amount of food every time. So
that's interesting. So you stay on top of your numbers by what your numbers are because you keep track of it and you do testing. You feed the same amount all the time using a feeder.
Yes.
And when you need it, you use no-pox. And other than that, it's just simple. That's, there you go. There's BRS. I was watching their live stream about things that hold us back in the hobby. And they were talking about, wouldn't it be great if you could just write a set of instructions,
Mhm.
say, you know, do this, 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 and this, and you'll be successful. And I mean, it sounds like what you've got is the recipe for success.
Yeah,
Because man, look at this.
basically. Yep.
Very, very nice. And so this tank is getting full. So are you actively planning an upgrade?
Yeah, I want to go to 240.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, I can't go to the store to buy anything. So
Yeah. It's so hard.
yeah.
Well, you'll
So,
just have to get your wife to come in and rearrange the corals, just like rearranging the furniture, right?
Yep.
Oh, geez. Oh, hey, Jessica J. Glad you can make it. Oh, neat. Oh, you have some rainbow clove polyps. I have an entire rock covered with those.
Yeah.
They're so
That
pretty.
was 2 polyps.
I want to get those and the ones that have the green tips.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Wolverines, I think they call them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of those.
I want the Wolfman ones.
I have a question because this guy right here,
Yeah.
they look like an enemy, but I don't know what they are. They split like an enemy, but they really tiny. They don't grow
Mushrooms.
much.
The
No,
green,
they're not mushrooms.
the green ones?
Yeah, they kind of hairy, but I don't know. They weird. They look like an enemy.
Could they be Mohanos?
Yeah, it's hard. I can't really tell what the heck it is.
Yes.
If they're really, really extremely small and their tentacle extension is less than probably the width of your fingernail, high probability it's a Mohano anemone. And you might want to try to get those out quickly.
Yeah, the Mohanos basically they green. That one, those they like kind of white.
They look like ball anemone to me.
They look green to me.
Oh, the Pseudocoronactus, like I
They
have
look.
a lot of those.
Yeah, so they split a lot. So
Yeah, and that's the problem with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like you got one that's already split and went all the way around on the left there of the base of that branching hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sure it's have you poked at one to make sure it's a soft? It's all soft and there's no skeleton.
They soft.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
So,
another one in top of the right there, in the middle of
Oh, yeah.
the polyp.
If you try and pick it out with tweezers, it goes all mushy.
Yeah, they go like the anemones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an Aptasia. Or an Aptasia or a Mohano, one of the two. I'm gonna vote Mohano.
I was gonna say it sounds more Mohano because Aptasias usually aren't fluorescent green.
Yes.
No, they're like
Very true.
And they look just like the other day I was looking at my Duncan and thinking that it looked like an Aptasia, except I know it's not. It's a Duncan, but the long tentacle.
Take the Frogspawn and put it up against them. That'll take care of them.
Yeah, that will. Like no joke. You could just put any one of the Frogspawns right there and just give it a week. Either they're gonna move or they're gonna die off.
They close.
Mm.
So basically, I call it like a snowflake mini anemones because they look like snowflakes.
Yeah.
It's weird. I never see that before.
Why does this sound like something I'm going to see at a show one day and look at someone and go, you know what these are, right? And like, oh, they're snowflake anemones. They're really cool.
You're like, I know where that started.
They're going to be like $100 a piece too, and be like, what?
Hey man, whoever buys it.
Hey,
I've seen entire like quote unquote problem anemone tanks. They actually look kind of nice.
Freestyle Traveler's wondering if they look like a little bubble tip.
Yeah, it's hard to to say how they look, because for me they look like snowflakes.
Yeah.
Anemones. I don't know.
This is to me starting to sound like a cool, fun prank to do on people at a frag show, is to set up a table of pests.
I tried to Google it and everything. I don't see any picture of that. I don't see anything about it.
Well, try looking up ball anemone or strawberry ball anemone and see if you find anything. Strawberries are usually very pink, but I have these in Mollywood. I've had them ever since my 29-gallon cube, which is probably 7
I've
years.
seen the clear ball anemones and the pink ones, but I've never seen a green one, but it wouldn't surprise me that they exist.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the white blobs that are there. I don't know what the green is.
See, I don't see white blob. I see green.
Oh, I see. I mean, they're
Yeah.
blue. They're blue blobs. But
Yeah.
actually, if the blue lights weren't on, they'd be white.
Oh, so it's the blue blobs around the green stuff? Because I do see blue blobs, but I see what looks to be like green mushrooms, like the little mushrooms I was talking about.
I see a bunch of bright green speckles.
Yeah.
Is that what you
don't grow anymore? They stay like this big.
Hey, do me a favor real quick and pull your camera back and point at which one it is.
Is it the green or the blue?
This one right here.
Pull your camera back just a little bit so we can see your finger.
Okay. This one right there.
So
it is the green ones.
This one on the side is a mushroom.
Okay.
Those right there.
And they stay tiny and they're bright green. My vote would be Mojano.
Yeah. That's going to be my vote too.
But the Mojano, they green with like blue tips or something like that.
No, well, just like bubble tip anemones, they come in all sorts of different colors.
Out of curiosity, just to make sure, you don't by chance happen to have any flower anemones in the tank, do you?
No.
Rock flowers, you mean?
Oh, yes. I have this one right here.
Well, then those might be babies.
I have this one, this pink right here.
Yeah,
and
those green ones might be babies.
Yeah. So I have this right here, orange. It's tiny.
Did you ever have one of your rock flower anemones in that area?
No, just that one right there, and it's orange.
Could have taken a walk.
And a lot of times when they first start out as babies, they're a different color.
Yeah.
They come into their adult color as
I'd get a magnifying glass and really scrutinize them and see if they just look like a baby rock flower.
Yeah. The thing is, they split a lot and they don't grow no more. And no more. They don't get big.
Well,
they stay like that.
The only thing I would say is if you do have babies getting generated, it could be that because I know they don't grow incredibly fast, that it could just be new ones showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marcus says, take the Mojanos, rename them ridiculous, and sell them for an absurd price, and you'll make a small fortune.
Yep.
It just sounds to me like this almost sounds like something you'd have to partner with like BRS TV on and, set up a fake booth, make it look real, get some showy people to sell stuff. And then after someone, don't let anyone actually walk away after they make the purchase, but just be like, this is why it's so important to like learn in this hobby, because like you just bought a rock of Aptasia for $100.
And they grow fast.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to stop laughing at that one.
It would be a hilarious thing to do just to see who, or if people are in the know on it, just be like, wow, if you really do want to still make your purchase, we'll donate it to charity or something.
Yeah.
So, Marcus Aurelus is wondering, was your tank ever cloudy? Because rock flowers do spawn. Did you ever notice any cloudiness or?
No, not really.
I'll say this, while it might become cloudy with the amount of coral that's in there and the types,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be cloudy for very long.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful elegance.
Very cool.
Oh, give me a quick second. I'll be right back.
What kind of tang was that just went through?
What kind of what?
What kind of tang was that just went through? It looked like it had a dark tail. It wasn't the sailfin, was it?
This one right here?
Oh, I don't know if it was that one or not, actually.
Because the surfing is this one, and this is the scope.
Scopas, yeah.
Scope
Cool.
tank. And then I have two yellow. I went crazy like a couple of months back because I have 9 tanks in my tank.
And it's a 75.
In 75 gallons. Yeah.
Where's the siren at? I hear the tank police coming.
So basically they I don't know it was ick or what happened to the fishes. They get stressed out and they was dying by one.
Uh-oh.
So I was getting like frustrated, and then it was a lot. They were fine for a long time, but one day they start getting white eyes. The skin was peeling and everything, so they was dying one by one.
That's got to be one of the hardest things to go through. Like with my temp tank, that's kind of what happened to me. Is like one day everyone was fine, and then everybody just started dropping like flies.
Yeah.
And I just actually, there's another YouTuber out there. I don't know if anyone's heard of him, called Oh Too Many Fish.
Oh, yeah, Dave.
And he's got a beautiful tank and a lot of fish that he's had for well over a decade. And he just made a video how he said he lost about 100 fish. And it's just heartbreaking because it was the same type of thing on a much larger scale where he couldn't really do anything about it.
Did you say 100 fish?
Yeah, he's a pretty avid collector.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I lost a lot. I lost my hippo tank, my purple tank, my naso tank. Well, what else? It was 9 in total, so I have four left. So the other one, it was I have a fax face. It was really huge, like almost 8 inches. He don't make it either.
I just put up the name of that channel, Oh Too Many Fish. He does have a YouTube channel. Yeah. He doesn't make videos super frequently, but they're always really interesting. He has a huge outdoor frag system.
Yeah,
400. Go ahead.
He's got a really cool system, and it's.
Yep.
He's very knowledgeable in the information that he shares on his videos too.
Yep. Yeah, and right at the beginning of every video, he says, "I don't sell anything, so don't ask." But apparently, if you visit him, he will give you things. He's in Southern California, I think.
So I think Lil is waiting, right?
Lynn, yeah, Lynn's here.
Oh, you're good. I'm just listening.
It's your turn now.
Oh, I'm still marveling at the tank. I guarantee every one of us are still doing the same thing, running a bunch of questions.
It's beautiful. Anybody have any more questions in the chat?
You said no water changes.
I just want to see this tank in about a year and see what it looks like then.
Yeah, for real. You said no water changes, correct?
Yes, no water changes.
You running skimmer?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I saw a skimmer down there.
Okay, I guess I missed that part. I had to step away for a quick second.
And you also have an anemone in there with a couple clownfish.
It's right there.
Wow.
Lightning maroons?
Yes, lightning maroons.
What's the orange coral right there?
Which one?
The orange to the right of the anemone.
You name it.
Like it, and that's the front side of it, right? It's not a Satosa. It looks like a pagoda coral along the edge there.
I
And
was gonna say Satosa.
just from the
Yeah,
color,
it's Setosa. Yeah.
I've
Thank
never
you.
seen
Has
one
it started encrusting on anything yet?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, you might want to make sure you give it spot because it does encrust and start creeping. It's very aggressive too.
For real?
Yep.
I just
Yeah.
put a torch next to it.
before.
I have I can't say technically he's a friend, but a fellow reefing enthusiast in Vegas that he's got a really big system, and he's got one of those pavonas, and it just, or not pavonas, but one of the, oh, why is my memory shoddy right now? The Satosa. And it just, he put it in, and I think he put a Walt Disney next to it, and it killed the base of the Walt Disney.
Wow.
So be careful with that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't extend out like, some macros do, but anything starts creeping within an inch of it, yeah, you're going to start losing corals around it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and Marcus Aurelius has an interesting point. He likes Satosa, but where was this? Oh yeah. MB, have you run an ICP test? Just because of sodium levels with the dosing chemicals that we use, sometimes depending on what you actually, what type you actually use, like there can be buildups of certain types of salts over time.
Yes. Basically, I just running my RO system.
Yep.
I replace the filter like basically like every 6 months. So that's it. I don't do anything else.
Well, what brand of dosing chemicals do you use for your alk and all that? Did you say the Red Sea?
Red Sea, yeah.
Red Sea. So there's a separate one for alkalinity, calcium, magnesium. They each have their own.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Because I've learned that there are two different types of ways to dose those things: alkalinity, calcium, whatever. One is sort of I want to say potassium based, but that's wrong. I'm getting it wrong. All I know is over time, salt.
Isn't it a carbonate based?
Yeah, some are carbonate based and some are salt based.
Gotcha.
And so over time, the salts do build up.
Yes, I make sure my salt is in 0.036.
3.6.
26. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say 3.6,
Sorry,
and you still
26.
have them corals? Man, I need to know your knowledge.
Sorry, 26.
PPT, right, is 1.026. Yeah.
Yeah, 26. So that's another thing that I keep in track. Like every 2 weeks I check my salinity to make sure is in the. Basically, I have the system to put water in the system, osmosis water.
Yeah.
So I don't use any salt, to.
Yeah,
to
I'm not
increase the
explaining
level.
it very well, but it's a different type of salt than what we would use as salt mix.
Yes.
It's an ionic salt. I'm probably not describing it properly. I'm going to do a little bit of reading into it again because there's
like table salt.
REEF, and it's like basically a 2-part dosing system all in one.
Okay.
And because the type of chemical that's used to dose the calcium and the alkalinity to increase them is like sodium based, that's why they don't precipitate. And like I said, I'm probably not super accurate with this, just the little bit that I read before I started using it on Mollywood. And that's why they can be in the same solution and not cause precipitation out. It's because they're salt based versus carbonate based or or bicarbonate based, or
Yeah.
like I said, I'm sure I'm not getting the details right. All I know is there are two different types of chemicals that can be used to
Growing foundations.
and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. It just leaves a residual buildup in the tank, and that's the problem.
Yeah, yeah, because it can't go anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Freestyle Traveler's wondering at what level to put his Pectinia in his tank. I've always had mine on the bottom. And I don't know about others. I know Reef Keeper Phil, if he's still here, he's got a really big one in his frag tank. And I've seen them sort of part way up, but I would say lower in the tank. Marcus's Reef said, I've been thinking about not buying the liquid Red Sea alk and going with the powder. A lot of money for mostly water, but it's convenient. Yeah. I can speak from experience in mixing from powder. It's a pain in the neck. And the problem I always had is as soon as I knew I had to do it, I would put it off until I couldn't anymore. And then it was never convenient. I could never get ahead of it because it was such a pain in the ass to do the mixing.
Yeah, I got that same problem right now. Like the last time we did the whole entire, last week's video, I set up my water change perfectly fine, and I still haven't done my water change because I just got the corals.
Oh, hey, Damon. Damon says beautiful tank.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, look at that. And where do you have this tank?
It's in my living room.
Oh, because it really sounds like it's quiet.
But right now, my grandson he want to go to sleep, but he's fighting with the sleep, so he's trying. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. So you have to go and do grandpa things?
Yes.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, I'm not far off of that one.
Wow.
I'm a happy dink over here. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that phrase.
Who?
What is that?
D-I-N-K? Dual
Oh.
Yeah,
no
dual
kids.
no kids. Yep, I've heard of that. I'm a boomer. I know what that is. Oh, that's pretty. Is that a favia right there? The red and green and purple? Right in the middle? The green. Yeah, that looks like a chalice up close.
Yes, it does.
Wow, your wife's got good taste.
Is that a chalice or a favia?
That's a favia. Chalice is this one right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this one.
I would have thought it was an Acan echinata for a minute.
I mean, that's why I asked the question. That was my next one.
That's a chalice right there too.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
It looks like a strawberry shortcake chalice too.
Or
I
pink
bought it like a watermelon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what they're also known as.
Or pink with yellow mouths. Cool.
That's a beautiful tank, though.
Is that more rostas there?
The what?
No, those aren't rostas there in the middle, are they?
No, that one's they basically
Like dragon's holes.
Yes.
Is that a clam?
Yes, that's a clam right there.
No, to the right.
Yeah, what's it? That thin,
green sliver.
line?
That's a brain coral.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's just in for the night.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what is that? Oh, okay.
I thought it was a clam too. I was just
they look like clam. Yeah.
My next question was going to be: is it a maxima, and why is it orange?
Those lights.
See, like those recordias right there that he's looking at that just crept up on? Like the size difference between the left recordia and the blasto is the difference between the first recordia and the second recordia that I got.
Wow.
Like that much of a size difference. It's insane.
Yeah.
You
This
just
one,
never know
this,
sometimes. It
this
can be
one,
real hit and miss what you get.
this one
I-
get bigger. This one get
Yeah.
bigger.
It looks like it's got babies on it.
Yes, they have right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that one stay like that. It was one poly, and then they start growing and growing.
Okay. I may have missed this, but where are you originally from?
I'm from New York. I'm Puerto Rican, so basically
That-
I'm living in
that was gonna-
Rochester, New York.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is if you were either Puerto Rican or Dominican, because
Yeah.
that accent is very, very familiar.
Yeah.
Well, I spent some time with the Puerto Rico's National Guard in 2004, 2005. So
Nice.
I'm fairly accurate at picking Spanish out from where they are from.
Mm. Yeah, that's the best time I'm talking like that, and you know, in a show or in a live, because I'm really shy to speak English. Yeah.
Hey man, I'm shy too, but you see me in here until you get to know me, and then you can't keep me quiet.
Well, MB, your English is
Go
good.
down a little bit. Is that a candy apple Fabia? Down a little bit.
Candy apple.
Up a little, the red and green.
Right there.
Yeah.
Looks like a war coral.
Yeah, that's what I have as a
Is that a war?
Yeah, I think Reefgrrl have the same one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's not a candy apple. No, jeez. This is what happens when you just don't. When you're not looking at new stuff all the time, and you're just trying to maintain. You forget names.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, me personally, I don't go after name. I go after colors and looks.
Yeah, basically.
I am the same. I am the same way. I've just found that in order to properly adapt to the way people will, because a lot of times a coral vendor will be like, I'll be like, well, hey, do you have it like this color? And they'll just spout off a common name, and I'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you gotta be sharp on the names sometimes, just to see if someone's a legit vendor or if they're just BS sometimes. Because
is that a Cyphastria?
Meteor shower, it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Huh.
See,
Yeah,
like
the
stuff
thing
like
about-
that, I would purposely go after. But any other type of Cyphastria, nah, a hit or miss.
The thing about names is it helps sometimes if you, rather than trying to describe something to someone, it helps if you can actually put a name on it that everybody knows. And the problem we're having is that there's so many variants of things we're getting now,
Yeah.
yet possibly all have distinct names, you know? And Gallery Aquatica on their Facebook page a while ago had some pictures of zoanthids that were all green, blue, and yellow. And there had to have been about 15 different pictures, and every one of them was different. All the same green, blue, and yellow in different combinations.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing is just, you know, it's one of the reasons I guess names help, but that only works if they're accurate all the
Very
time,
true.
one to the next, right?
Yeah. It's like trying to describe a blue agave to somebody.
Yeah.
If you legitly don't know what that looks like, Google it real quick and try explaining that to somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, what'll really throw that off is talk to somebody that's a scientist in the field, and you tell them one of these names, and then you'll be like, "What the heck is that garbage?"
Yeah. Or
They'd be
you know,
like, "Do you even speak Latin?"
yeah, like the trade name is something, you know, crazy, and you think it's a zoo, But you look at the scientist, he looks at it and goes, no, that's a pally. I mean, it's got rocks in its tissue. That is a paleothoa. Zoas don't do that.
Well, that's the thing with a lot of the coral identifications too lately. Like they've been reclassifying some things, and
Yeah,
it seems
crazy.
that they've gone away from physical characteristics and more into DNA analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean they should do. What was it? There was something that was just classified as a euphilia, and now it's
Well,
something completely different.
yeah, it's some of it. Like I don't know. When someone tells
not a
me
euphilia.
trichophilia,
Yeah, that's what I was
trichophilia to
thinking.
me has a triangular base to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and apparently now they're
Wesleophilia-
hobophilias or something like that.
If you say Wesleophilia, it's got a flat bottom.
Okay.
And when they reclassified them all the trachees, I was like, I'm like, I get the DNA thing, but sometimes those physical characteristics, they do have some merit to.
Yeah, it's what keeps them as that.
Yeah. I mean, just to understand, it's like, now it's like, a lot of people still call them Wesleophilia, including myself, so.
Well, the thing is, picture in your mind a symphilia. Picture in your mind a lobophilia. Think about the aggressiveness of one versus the other. The lobophilia is far more aggressive than the symphilia, but now they're telling us that symphilia actually should be called lobophilia. I'm sorry, they're not. Like it's like you said, Alex. I get the DNA thing, but the skeletal stuff has to matter too, and how everything's arranged, how the polyp is attached.
It's where it becomes a variety of something, and it is. I understand the scientific methodology for that, and saying, well, genetically it's the same.
I'll be right back. I gotta charge my phone.
All right. See you later. Oh, hey, multiple aquariums. I don't know if I got your emails unless they're
what kind of wrasse is that just went by to the left?
Which one?
I've seen a wrasse go through there.
Looks like there was a wrasse. I can't tell what color he is. It almost looks like a.
It's yellow.
Mystery.
He have no tails.
Wrasse?
He have no tails.
What kind of wrasse is it?
It's a yellow one with the two dark blue in the.
Oh, it's a yellow chorus wrasse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just, when I saw the shape that looked a little subdued, I was like, it almost looked like a mystery wrasse.
Yeah, he have no tail.
Something I'm gonna have to get into this tank is some wrasses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he kind of swims around almost vertically a little bit.
Yeah, he is almost. There's a little bit of a characteristic of a mystery wrasse. How he's just kind of being very cautious looking, but that makes sense that he's got a missing tail.
Yes, that's my favorite. I call him the handicap.
You said earlier that you had 4 cleaner shrimp?
Yes, 4.
How long have you had all 4 of them?
For months.
Okay. They got separate areas. Okay.
Yes, it's one. Sometimes I think have a male and female because sometimes they together.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, but I remember reading someone had a bit of a scientific study where they're basically saying in a lot of tanks that cleaner shrimp would basically pick everybody off and get down to a pair.
Oh.
Okay.
But there's a territorial, the size of a territory that has to be involved with that too. So I just thought that was kind of interesting because I've tried to keep 3 or 4, and they always end up being a pair.
Yes.
I had 3 for probably 6 or 8 months in the Red Sea tank when I first set it up. I used to call them the three sisters. They always hung out together upside down under the arch on the right.
The last time I had 3, one of them was basically banished to the top corner of the tank, and they would not allow it to come in anywhere. It was a 120-gallon tank, and if it tried to come down off the top, they'd attack it.
Huh.
Because even my last tank, I think I started with 4 in the 480, and I was down to 2. They whittled the others off.
In that big a space, wow.
It'll be that's one thing I'm looking forward to. The one I didn't get that I should have last time, and I'm going to definitely do this time, is I want to get another pair of coral banded shrimp, because I always like them being a pair. I love those shrimp. They're all bark and no bite. They look really intimidating, but they're not.
Oh, you've hit on one that I want when I get the big tank, is at least a pair, because I agree with you, they are fascinating.
The long antennas and the intimidating looking claws.
Yep.
I mean,
the one thing I can say with this one, I had a coral banded, and it was starting, to get sizable in the 30-gallon that I had at the time before I moved out of Las Vegas. And the person that come and got it put it in a Fowler tank, and it survived with triggers. So I don't know about the no bark part, but it was able to survive in a 125 Fowler tank.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, when I finally traded it to him, like, the coral banded had to been like the size of my middle finger. Like, he was huge. The tentacle span on this thing was like 10 inches.
Well, that's what I like about coral bandits, and they just have that massive presence with their antennas and everything.
Yeah, and the dude told me a couple fish when he first put it in there, until it found its little spot, they tried snipping at it, and he said a couple days later there were fins flying around in the tank and a couple fish missing fins, and that coral beauty, or that coral banded, lived in that Fowler tank for a good time frame.
Oh. Hey, Derek H. Derek H said he had 3 in his 75 and now has 2 cleaner shrimp.
Well, my 700 I had, there was a cleaner shrimp that lived in there for about 2 years.
Yep.
He had a cleaning station, but like, he was wedged under a rock
to where that.
None of the triggers or the puffers could get to him, but the angels and tangs used to use them as a cleaning station, and that's why in my new big fish tank, I'm going to cement together some rocky spaces that have enough space for small fish or a shrimp to get in, but not big enough for a trigger or a puffer to get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Johnny Martinez is asking MB, how many power heads do you have going in here? What's the flow? What are you using?
Basically, this one is off. I'm using right now these 3 right here. Let me see if the TV. Okay, right there.
Somebody's having a background there.
Yeah. Those 3. This one sometimes I use it when I want it, like, to clean up the tank.
Is that a gyre on the left there?
Yes.
Yeah. And then on the right, you have what type of power head?
This one is, that's the cheaper ones. They have a magnet in the back, but they're from Amazon. So
yeah. I have all Amazon power heads.
So I use the system to,
Oh, that's the high door thing.
Yeah.
I love that thing. I will use it again. It's a great way to get alternating flow. And then you put that with one small Jabo or something, and you've got random flow going on. Cool.
I have something else I'd like to ask you. Have you basically made it pitch black dark in front of this tank at night and sat there and just stared at it to see if you see any bioluminescence happen at night.
What is the question again?
So one thing that I used to do in my old tanks, and I'll probably try doing it here once everything settles in for a couple weeks, is at night after all the lights are off and it's as close to pitch black as you can get, or just maybe just a little bit of light in the room, is sit there and stare at the tank for a half hour or so, no lights, in the dark, and see if you see any bioluminescent light flashes, similar to like fireflies.
I do that like almost every day.
You guys, you're
Do you see bioluminescence? That's what I'm interested to know.
Yeah, I do that every day, almost every day.
and you ever seen anything glowing in there?
Not really, not really.
Well, that means not really means that you've seen it before, then.
I don't know if I seeing stuff, but I'm not crazy, you know.
You gotta poke it with a stick, right, Alex?
Yeah, I was gonna say a poking stick in the sand can be useful, or tapping the rocks or tapping the glass. You might see some light flashes happen.
Wow.
It's like the waves that happen in, I believe it's Japan. I
Well,
think once a year.
Well, there's a place in Puerto Rico too, bioluminescent.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
there's all kinds of different things. Like generally, like I used to grow the diatoms that were bioluminescent, but there's a lot of different worms, brittle stars, and ostracods. There's a bunch of different things out there that do bioluminesce, but nobody ever looks for them. So a lot of times they're just flying under the radar in tanks.
Yeah. When you move the water, they start. You can see it.
Cool.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico they have a place like that you go in the boat, and the boat have glass on the bottom. And
I was actually. I have to look at. Well, obviously, travel's not something in my itinerary right now, but I know there's a couple places in the southern part of Puerto Rico that have bioluminescent ostracods that
yes.
I'd like to visit. It's not the dinoflagellates that like where you're going into the bay. It might be more out on a flat in a seagrass area.
Okay. So basically, somebody jump in the water and start moving the water, and you can see the water glowing. It's great. It's something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are generally diatoms, and there's a lot of other stuff out there though. That there's a lot of like I had brittle stars in my tank that would bioluminescence. Something disturbed them.
Crazy. Do you think you retained any of that with what you moved?
We'll find out here, and I'm gonna let everything settle for a week or two. I'm fairly confident that some things have come through in the form of worms or hopefully some of the brittles. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I am very much thinking that I might get another shipment of live rock for this system.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yep.
and do what I did last time and just put it right in the refugium, and just whatever's in there is in there, and it can do what it wants.
Nice.
I'm also going to start raising the bioluminescent dinoflagellates again. So
All right, I got a question. Now, I have a couple spots in my clam that I'm not exactly sure about, but they're inside the mantle.
there's spots.
Correct.
Are they white?
Negative.
Can you show us?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
It's gonna have to be quick because my phone dies after 5%.
All right. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Mantle. Don't go away, MB.
It's hard to see it. Okay, but if you look right here, there's a couple spots that are dark on the mantle. Oh, why is it not focusing? As soon as I get close, it does. You know what? I just thought about this.
Okay. I kind of, it's,
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
it's just a little darker, like, it's not on the surface, it's kind of underneath.
Yeah, it's in the mantle itself. Like you can see the dots right now, but I'm trying to hold on to this glass piece.
Kind of on the upper of part of the middle, like a dark band.
Hold on. I'm in a really precarious situation right now. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Now that I got that situation, I could show you what I'm talking about. If I could zoom in, I would. But there's a whole bunch of dots. They're on the underside of the mantle right after the intake.
Yeah, I would leave it alone.
And I've been noticing as well is that the actual like opening of the tank. You can go ahead and kill me on screen. I got to put it back on the charger. I'm back down to 4% already.
Yeah, so with clams, they can do some strange things sometimes. Like they can have slight variations in their pattern. They sometimes will expel zooxanthellae. But like when you reached your hand over it and it shut like that and it had that reaction.
Yeah, it's still healthy. I know that, but
yeah. And the best thing to do with stuff like that is just leave it alone.
Yeah. I mean, like the first week it was in the tank, it opened about, I'm going to say like a pinky to a ring finger wide, but now it's well over a thumb width wide.
Yeah. And Hippopus, I've got limited experience with them, but I mean, just like the other clams, I mean, if it's reactive to movement and everything, yeah.
No, Marcus could be right on that one.
Now, they do have primitive eyes, but color changing in the mantle, like, clams will try to regulate the light that they're getting. That's why sometimes they'll reorientate themselves. Like, someone might try to put them and face them straight up, but then they'll turn on their side, or they have them on their side and they reorientate themselves up.
Gotcha.
They have a primitive eye, and they can. That's why they move, is they're trying to get to a better spot. But generally, unless, I mean, the things like that where there's slight color variations, I wouldn't really do anything because it could be a reaction to lighting, where
Gotcha.
it's changing its tone due to the lighting that it has. It's not a bad thing because clams can take a lot of light generally. But if it's still reactive and everything, and you're saying it's opening nice and wide, and its intake is still, it's not like gaping wide open where it's the whole width of the clam or something. It looked like it had a really healthy reaction.
Well, like I said, with the gaping open, like right now, I would say it's at a normal opening.
Yeah.
But when I brought the cam up closer, the opening was a lot more than what it is right now.
Yeah.
And I mean a lot more.
Yeah, and when I refer to gaping, it's the water inlet for their mouth.
Yeah, like full circle, it looks like an oval.
Yeah,
instead of being like a track.
Well, they'll regulate that based on how much water they want to intake.
Okay.
So because they can use it as kind of a filter on the water, and they could also use it to control and regulate how much water they're intaking. But if it's way bigger than it should be, that could be a bad sign. But generally, a lot of times with clams, I mean, my past experience with them is, they can do some weird things or have odd little changes in them.
Yeah.
It's not bleaching out. That it's darkening up. I don't see that being a bad thing, especially when it's as reactive as it was when your hand went by it. So
Okay.
I just leave it alone and let it do its clam thing.
I got a picture of it, but in order for me to send, oh, for the love of God, why do I always forget your name?
Cindy.
Sorry, hon.
No, it's
But
okay.
to send it to Cindy, I have to jump out of here to send it to her, and then I'll jump right back in.
Okie doke.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm looking at Lynn's tank too. She's got, let's put Lynn up full screen for a while. And MB's got his full tank shot up too. Cool. Okay, so Lynn, which tank are we looking at here?
Oh, sorry. Yes, ma'am. It's my Ghani's tank.
Beautiful.
Had a little obsession and decided just to put an entire tank together.
Uh-huh.
This is my E170. It's one of the Red Sea ones, all-in-one.
Yep.
But I have it plumbed to 2 other tanks right now.
Oh, cool.
So it's actually altered just a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing really special about it. It's just a bunch of Ghanis.
Oh my God.
Keeping the light fairly low on them and just moderate flow.
Right now I have one of the gyre and then the Nero on it right now. Let me see. Nope, can't really see if I can get this. Yeah, so I just have the gyre going,
Yeah.
and then the Nero 5, I think.
Okay.
Cool. And that looks like a Cinerina you have down front in the center.
Oh yes, so it used to be in my main tank, and then I ran out of space, so I kind of stuffed them in here.
I love those things.
What's that? That green Gonapora. There's something orange right below it, or is that an Alveopora?
Up and down.
Yep, that's that orange thing right there, behind.
The red one between the red and green. Nope, sandbag.
On
Nope,
the,
Nope, not the
sandbag.
anemone. Down, little tiny orange. Yep, it's
Behind
on the
left.
left center.
Left center. This
Left
one?
that
down.
between
Under the alveopora.
under the green
Under
alveoli.
that.
under the green Alveopora.
Looks like a bubble
This
tip
one?
behind.
No,
Oh,
the one, yeah, there you go.
That's the bubble tip.
Oh, okay, just a baby. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and
These
peppermint
guys,
shrimp. Okay.
yeah, these guys don't get very big for some reason. I have 3 or 4 of them in here, and they just stay that small, and they just start splitting.
They're like dwarf bubble tips. That's
They're-
cool.
I think they're called flame tip. That's what I bought them as, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. My
See,
my
we go
one,
talking about that names again.
It's true.
I had some rainbow ones that never really got that big, and they would split at about the size of the bigger one you got there.
This is I can't remember the name of it. It has like little tiny thing that comes out of it, and they have like little crabs on the rock too.
Oh,
It's
Bismarck
closed right now.
Is that a Christmas tree rock?
Parade.
Yes,
Yeah.
Varieties.
yes. But all the Christmas tree is closed, but they have a couple of crabs in there. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. There's a guy, Bisma Worm guy on Insta. I don't know if you follow him, Lynn, but he has a whole tank of these types of rocks. Really, really cool. He's got sea cucumbers and like all the really weird invertebrates and stuff. It's really, really cool.
See, I want to
you're
get a
gonna
Christmas tree
laugh.
with some very colorful tubes. That's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hard to find. This one only has the white and black ones. For this
Aw,
one. Yeah, I'm still looking for one with the blues and the orange.
blue, greens, reds, oranges,
Oh, yeah.
pinks, purples.
Yeah. Well, this one I had my friend order it for me, so I didn't get to see what it was at first. I just asked him to order, and I wasn't gonna complain because he got it for me personally, so I grabbed it. But I still would like a really colorful one.
Yeah. Lynn Carlos 23 wants to know if that was tank number 7. He says it's beautiful.
This is
Well, I like when you were saying that you were plumbing tanks together. That's the only good things can come from that.
Yeah.
She had better water source. Or
Yeah,
not better
'cause-
water source, greater volume.
so I plumb a 30-gallon and then a 40 breeder. The 40 breeder was the Euphilia one that I had, and they're
Oh,
all
okay.
plumbed into this one.
Nice.
So this was actually my first tank, and I outgrew it within 3 months.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
About
Funny
right.
how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great.
but I have the GSP growing. I still do love them.
Yeah.
It's a classic. I think it's one of the interesting facets of this hobby is that a lot of those corals that are still very beautiful, they kind of get shunned as, oh, well, that's just common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not trying to, like a good example, like green slimer, like Green Valley slimer. I think that's a beautiful coral, just the shape of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, you have that?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, green slimer is probably one of my favorites, with the purple slimer too.
I still remember when Gonapora in the late 90s, very early 2000s, all we had was green Gonaporas, and
Yep.
nobody could ever keep them alive past about 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
They used to get, even elegance corals. The first store I worked at, we used to get elegance corals that were anywhere from 12 to 24 inches across. But they never made it.
Yeah.
They were always the Indonesian ones, weren't they?
Well, I think part of it was is they were all big channeled colonies, and
Gotcha.
you can't even we used to get massive wall hammers, and there was a very high mortality rate. The problem with the Gonapora is that even then there was still too much of that keep your water ultra clean. Because the first success I ever had with a green Gonapora was in my clam tank, where
Dirty.
I purposely used tap water, and I knew it had high phosphates and iron and everything. Well, the clams loved it. The Gonapora loved it too.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. And I've talked before about reading somewhere that torches like turbid water because their original environment is river mouths and areas where there's a lot of flow and a lot of sediment.
Yep.
So they benefit from all that stuff being stirred up. So that's why I always used to stir up my aquarium sand just to get that stuff up into the water column.
And cans too, because talking to some friends in the industry that know the people collecting, like they got a video one day and they were like, "What's up with the water being like murky?" And they're like, "Oh, that's just how it is. Like these don't grow in clear water."
Yep.
Oh, I sent two pictures.
Okay. Yeah, Marcus is raising a question about keeping fire shrimp with cleaner shrimp in the same tank. If anybody has any experience with that.
I did that.
Make it a big
shrimp
tank
and blood shrimp they'll generally get along. The thing with blood shrimp is they are so secretive. I mean, you hardly ever see them. And the only thing I always caution people, and I don't, There's something I learned when I was starting in an LFS, and it was something I always did with shrimp. Whether or not it's fact or fiction, I haven't tried to read up on it, was you never take a shrimp, especially blood shrimp, and if you had like a taller tank, you let them free fall all the way to the bottom. I was always taught when I worked at LFSs, because people used to have them die a lot when they'd acclimate them, was when you acclimate shrimp, when you're done acclimating them, you let them off on the highest rocks that you can, and you let them work themselves down.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to
really?
think of pressure.
That
Yeah,
makes
because the
sense.
pressure change could kill them. Again,
Huh.
don't know if that's a reefing myth or
Yeah.
fact, but I remember encountering with blood shrimp in particular, people having that problem where they were like, they'd buy them and we'd had them for a week, and they'd come back and they're like, well, they died. And we're like, well, how'd you let them go? And they're like, well, we just dumped them in the tank after we acclimated them, and they fell to the bottom, and then they just stopped moving.
Uh,
But
yeah.
I don't know if there's any truth to that one. Not sure I want to test that one either.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be willing to test it either.
They're so expensive now. I mean, it's like everything in the hobby, I guess. Collecting and the freight and all of that kind of stuff, it just all adds up. Oh, hey, Skookum Chuck.
It's like when I started, a $40, quote unquote frag these days. $40 back then, that was a colony.
Yeah. Yeah, Fiji colonies of acros were like $40-$50.
Yeah, my point.
Aaron just sent me, TruSkillz just sent me a couple pictures of that clam. Here's one.
See that? Now you see the dots that I'm talking about above the mouth, the green ones?
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that.
And that's what I say as extended as fully open. Like that's as big as it gets.
Yeah, the mouth.
I can put my thumb knuckle between the edges of the outside of the clam.
Yeah, that clam looks pretty healthy. The mouth doesn't look like it's gaping at all, and those. Oh, I'm trying to remember on those darker patches there. That it's been a while since I've studied clam biology, so.
But isn't that the zoo? The zooxanthellae?
Yeah, I can't remember if there's some kind of organelle or something that had something to do with that, but that doesn't look bad at all, and that the mouth isn't gaping in a bad way. That just looks like it's opened up. It actually is kind of closed off on the top.
Yeah.
So,
and then
good.
if she goes to the next picture, you'll see my nice little photobomb drop of my lawnmower, Blenny. Like right as I snapped the picture, he photobombed it.
That's a good looking clam.
Normally, that's what it looks like, but there's like an hour or a 2-hour extension between what it looks like there versus the other picture.
Yeah, it's a little closed, a little more closed up in this picture. Maybe because the Blenny came along.
Clams, and clams just, I mean, they can do some funny things because if they want, they will try to self-regulate themselves a bit. So they don't always open all the way. If they're getting too much light, they might close a bit to, not get as much intensity. So,
I mean,
hey, Alex, are you a biologist? Are you a biologist, Alex?
No, I've been doing this a long time, and I've read books on clams, and I used to a long time ago, like that's all I did for a while was tridacta clams, and I got to really know them pretty well. And it was a bad habit at the store I worked at because literally I dumped my whole paycheck into clams every week.
Ouch.
That's pretty cool though. That you just you love it so much that you just start reading a bunch of stuff on them. I just never have the time.
Well,
See, that's
see,
my
the
problem. I always
fortunate thing was is that the summertime was the slow time at the local fish store, and we had a whole shelf full of books. So between customers, I'd sit there with my personal fan on me since it was like 80 some degrees in there, and we were floating ice packs in the tanks. So I'd be reading about clams, and I was like, I do miss some of them. Like I had a Durasa clam that it came in almost the size of a football. I love that clam. It was not easy to sell that one.
I killed one
guarantee you
that
that thing weighed
size.
like 40 pounds too.
Yeah, I suck at clams. I really do. I tried a big one that was in someone's tank for 6 years, and I still managed to kill it.
The only thing that I could say that's a bit of a shining light with clams is that the majority of everything that comes into the hobby, and I would really question how much is not, is all mariculture.
Mm.
That was one of the most interesting things that I ever found out about giant clams is that, you know, they're a huge food source for the Pacific Islands. And that is why they got into an almost extinction level, is because they were being sought as a food item. And the majority of clams that are out there are not very colorful. They're all browns and gold colors that aren't desirable. It's only a small percentage that are really spectacular, and most of them are farmed for food.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really hated the green wrasse. I hold him responsible for Stanley's death because he just kept flipping them and driving them right into the sand.
Yeah, clams don't like being poked at all the time.
No, that's for sure.
They can tolerate, like, I think the strangest thing that I always used to cringe at in my clam tank is that, so I had Caulerpa in there that would grow monstrous and spawn, and I used to keep long spine sea urchins. And the long spine sea urchins used to climb over the top of the clams while they were open.
Oh.
And a couple times they would reflex close, and I'd just be like, "Oh, don't stab that." But it never hurt them. Never hurt any of the LPS. I used to just, I is one of those things where interfering with it probably would have made it much worse.
I think it's Scott Mile High Reefer who has a giant clam that has clowns in it.
Oh, jeez.
I do believe that is him. That thing's huge, if I remember right.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. The clowns just dive in and out of there.
I wish I could keep a clam.
I intend to have clams in the big tank. I want at least a couple. I'm not going to get a bunch all at once or when it's too new, but I want to make a little clam garden.
My lights are out, Cindy.
Oh, yeah, too. Sorry, Alex.
Oh, that's all right. I keep hitting it at the wrong moment. I was going to say, my experience with clams is that if you want something that's an easy starter clam, Durasa is usually the most forgiving.
Yeah.
Maxima would be the next one I'd go to. There used to be a lot of, if it's a real tiny clam, they don't use photosynthesis, but that kind of got debunked.
Yeah.
But Maximas, they're usually pretty decent. Croceas, from what I read, they were always considered to be the most challenging.
They're gorgeous, though.
He was a crocea.
Yeah,
I had him for over 2 years, and he was doing great.
In my experience with croceas was they all did pretty well. I never found that there was a big difference between the species as long as you had a good environment. And things have changed so much in terms of how we keep tanks. And clams.
Yeah.
Clams are one of the few animals out there that could pull nitrates and phosphates out of the water in their food source.
Yep.
So they don't like ultra clean environments. Are not for them. They gotta have a little bit of a dirty environment. That's what they. That my best success with them was a tank that it was dirty. It had hair algae. It had a lot of stuff going on, but it had intense light and a lot of food and nutrients, and they were always happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right up until the 2002 power outage.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. It's interesting. We've talked tonight about a couple of different species of our tank inhabitants that are now benefiting from what we've learned about having nutrients at a higher level being more beneficial for them, because when I first started, the whole ultra low nutrient thing was in full swing. And because I didn't know what I was doing back in the first couple of years anyway, I didn't even test. So I was just kind of trying to do everything consistently and look at my tank, and I really didn't know a lot of the options that I had for monitoring what was going on in the first couple of years. And then I found YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And in that time, it slowly swung around, and really intensely, maybe in the last 5 years, well, maybe 4 years, there's a lot more discussion on the benefits of having higher, not out of control high, but certainly not zero nutrients. So it's interesting that the species that we talked about, like Goniopora and especially Alveopora, now we can keep them as long as we don't make the tanks too sterile. And that used to be the goal. And I never understood why you would strip all the nutrients out and then put them back in again.
Yeah, that's one that always really gets me, is let's add nitrate back. And I'm just thinking, well, if you want nitrates, just don't change out filter socks or put a canister filter on, and you'll have more nitrates than you know what to do with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, and Lynn, this must be the frag tank.
Yeah, that's my overflow.
Let's see that full screen.
The overflow.
I always call it overflow.
My word. Look at those colonies in there. Nice.
I like how you term this as overflow.
This means I can't fit them in the main displays.
See, but that's a good thing. That gives you more excuse to go get another display.
My husband would kill me. I can't say another display.
Don't call it that. Call it something else.
That's why I say overflow.
Change the name.
Well, do it like this.
This is what I hope my 400 to look like at some point, is filled up like this. I actually found. Now, let me ask you this, Lynn. Do you put new frags that you get into the frag tank first, or do you put them straight in the display?
I put them in the frag tank.
Yep.
I keep them in the frag plugs for a while. It's just, I don't know, the survival rate for me seems to be higher if I just don't mess with them. And once they get used to my tank, then I start moving them around or placing them where I want them to be.
I think that's really smart.
I was just starting to adopt that in my last system when I had to tear it down. That's what I want to do in my 400, is everything I buy new, I just want to throw it on a rack and leave it.
Yeah.
And I'm even thinking to the point of where I frag it and replug it and let those uncrust before I even put it in a display.
Well, the funny thing is, my husband was saying the other day, now instead of saying we need to get rid of all these extra 10 and 20 gallon tanks you got sitting around the place, now he's suggesting actually setting them up and having them run as quarantine tanks for inverts and corals, and then, of course, mollywood for fish.
I see you have the goal that I want with my wife. Your other half, actively, prominently engaged in it.
Yeah. Hey, there's no way I could do any of this without his help because he loves the early stages, the building, the planning, the research, you know,
See,
the
my
decisions.
wife loves the opposite. She likes the end game.
Yeah.
All right, Cindy. When the border opens up, I might have you send your husband down to help me with my display build when I need it.
You know what? He would probably love that. It's
I'll wait for the day when my glass deliveries come in and he can help me with that.
exactly. Well, I will say he's got, you know, a couple of fused discs in his back, so it would
Ooh.
depend.
That's okay. I plan to use pulleys and not allow anyone to pick up weight or have glass over their head.
Sounds like a good host to me.
Well, my coworkers would probably never let me hear the end of it since part of my professional career is safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
He really likes figuring things out. I mean, both of us enjoy the problem-solving aspect, and now we get to tackle landscaping
good. Have fun with that.
and we're gonna put a water feature out there, and we're coming up with ways to really make it cool and different without looking weird, and yeah, so
May I suggest something for you?
sure.
Since you have a prominent YouTube channel, reach out to Greg Woodstock.
Who's that?
He's called the Pond Guy.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna put a pond in.
Well, it's you said like a little.
Like a water feature.
They do that too.
We do have plans.
They do all of that. If you go to his like you guys know about Ohio Fish Rescue, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. They are the ones that did the pool where Brutus is at.
Oh, cool. All right.
What's the name of that company?
I can't remember the company.
The guy's name's Greg Woodstock. I'll write that down, look into it.
He has a specific Greg Woodstock channel, and then I think it's like Aqua Team or something like that. It's out of Chicago.
Is it? Oh, it's Aquascape.
Yeah. They did. I'll tell you to the extent they've done Shack, Ohio Fish Rescue, a little dude down in Florida, his front yard, what was his name? Paul Cafaro. They did a little front yard stream water feature.
There was somebody that was an employee over there. He was just a sales guy, but I remember he came by and he had come to me. He had reached out to me on Reef to Reef and wanted to come over and check out my old system.
Yeah, but if you want to do something, outside like that, even some of the little water features that they have, they can do it in 100 square foot or less.
I like Diacanthus on this. This is my coral refugium, but it's not for Philozenia.
Yeah.
I can't grow zinnias anymore.
Oh,
water's too clean.
pH.
Water's too clean.
Oh no, my water's my pH my phosphate it was at 0.5 yesterday when I was reading.
And
that's actually good.
Huh. Do you run, Lynn, do you run a UV sterilizer?
I do not.
I have to cut it every month. I have to cut it. They grow really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's getting ready to split. I moved it and it's looked like it's splitting already.
My little colony of heterozenias hanging in there, so.
My husband's actually pretty good. I just don't I don't want him involved because then I have to tell him how much I spend.
See, that's the beautiful thing. When you get something that splits, you have him go sell it.
Yeah.
Oh no, he would sell it for like $1.
Well, you tell him the price. You tell him it's already been negotiated. All he has to do is go take the coral there and pick up the money and bring it back.
I don't think he would do that.
I'm telling you, once he starts understanding what's visibly there, he'll start changing his tone.
My wife, it was interesting when I broke my last tank down because my local fish store that I work with, I know the owner very well, and he's a good friend, and he actually has he made up credit coins. So when you sell stuff to him, if you want credit, they'll just basically give you coins. Because his challenge was, he goes, well, trying to promise people store credit and track it is almost impossible. So he's like, I had these coins made as a currency for credit.
Nice.
So when I sold off my old tank, I was he came over several times and we worked out credit deals for corals, and he'd hand me the coins. And it was hilarious though, because towards the end of my journey of breaking the tank down, he's like, "Hey man, I'm running out of coins. could you use some of your coins?" So
Maybe I'll dig up some of my pogs or see if they're still use it that way.
Yeah.
It paid for the glass on this tank that I'm looking at because I made a dumb mistake and shattered the other one.
Oof.
Yeah, mine gives gift cards, and
I thought about doing that.
and they're great because I just take them with me when I go to the store to buy stuff, and I ended up with about 15 different gift cards with all different amounts on them, and I ended up getting my skimmer almost free.
Outstanding.
And
See,
then
that's my end result.
they have points, so because I didn't realize Wednesday was double points day, or I would have paid for my tank on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I mean, that didn't work. Still got me a lot of points, and I ended up getting one of my 2 Sichi pumps for free.
Nice.
ECS 9s that I got 2 of them, or was it the 7? I can't remember. Anyway, so it does pay off to have sort of an LFS that you can work with like that. And I didn't know about the points. He told me. So it was well worth working just through the one place.
All right, so I got a weird one here going in my tank now that I can watch my fish.
Okay.
Okay, so you can't even see them right now. So you can see the head of the female clownfish.
Yeah, I see the anal fin of
And
the
the
male.
head of the male clownfish.
Mhm.
And just in front of the head of the male clownfish is my hawkfish. He's in their nest
What?
with the anemone. The anemone is just poking out over the top. The hawkfish is in there with them. I saw it twice now.
Yeah, my
And-
lawnmower blendy does that all the time.
And he comes out again?
But I don't know. They're gold striped maroon clowns. They don't let anything near their nest.
Maybe they think he's their baby.
He was in there earlier. I thought he was dead. The tap of his tail was hanging out, and I was like, "Oh my god, the clownfish killed him!" But look, Big Mama there in the temporary tank. That fish was so aggressive. When I poked my head over the top of the tank, she'd attack the surface of the water. There's a hawkfish.
Comes.
Look at him.
And
Yeah,
she's
he's just chilling.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say here.
They've adopted him.
My lawnmower blendy does that to my anemone. Like my clowns will be over there, like real close to it, and my lawnmower blendy will be just like that under the anemone.
Even in my old display tank, this pair of clownfish, if anyone got near their house, they were getting run out of there. They didn't let anybody over there.
Huh. Diacanthus is asking whether the maroons are actually sleeping.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. Hopefully.
It doesn't look like they're sleeping. Mama looks like she's poking her head out, fairly active.
Wow.
There's the hawkfish again. He's going underneath the rock. What are you doing, buddy?
Trying to die.
Dangerously.
Apparently not. He must be welcome.
The community rock hostel. All that time in the casket, and they made friends.
Well, all I know is that if I get hybrids out of this, they're not going to be cheap.
Oh.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame you.
I don't even want to know what I'm going to... I can't even think of a name of the hawkfish and hawkfish and yellow gold stripe maroon clown hybrid here.
The clockfish.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, look,
LAWK.
sitting right there with Mom next to the anemone. I don't know. Was it this clown? This pair of clowns started with a very abusive relationship.
Yeah, they do that.
They were wild caught, and they were at the local fish store, and it was my good friend. And I said they were in a tank next to each other, but he wouldn't put them together. And I go, well, why don't you make pairs? And he goes, are you crazy? He goes, they might just kill each other. And I'm like, well, when I worked in the store, we just used to order big ones and little ones, and we just throw them in tanks and see what happened.
I mean, every time I get a pair, like one of my clowns die, whatever dies, if the small one dies, I get a small one. If the big one dies, I get a big ass one. Or I'll get a smaller one, smaller than the small one.
Yeah. Well, they looked like they wanted to see each other when they were next to each other in tanks, but when I put them in when I put them in this tank, that was a 480. She took over the anemone on this side of the tank, and he had to go to this side of the tank and was not allowed anywhere close. It took like 2 months before he was close, but this hawkfish sitting over here is just perplexing me.
Hey, man, we all learn crazy things in the hobby.
This is what happens when you can see things through the side and you're not looking from the top down.
So my pair, they both different. One is a regular mushroom, and the other one is a lining. The female is a lining mushroom, and the other one, the male is a regular mushroom. That's kind of weird too.
Yep.
See, I want to go with a naked and a midnight clown. And see how that works out with babies.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really admire people, hobbyists who raise clownfish because man, oh man, what a pain.
I'm just thinking of Diacanthus's comment here and thinking, I really hope you don't have carpet anemones.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Clowns are odd in their individual tolerances. Yeah, that's true.
It's just weird to me because this pair has shown to me in the years that I've had them that they do not tolerate outsiders in their space. I mean, the sea anemone is inside a hollow in that rock. She's on it right now.
Do you think, Alex, it's because this is new territory for everybody because they just went in here today?
Maybe, but the only thing that was odd to me is when I was going to capture everybody out of the temp tank, they were all grouped together under the bubble coral together.
Oh.
Because that was the last structure I took out of the tank, and they were all under it. And when I went to go take the anemone away from them, she attacked me. She was not happy that I was taking her home away.
Well, that would explain why he's still in there. Because as it sits right now, that's his only neutral ground that he knows.
I just don't get the hawkfish coming in that close with this much space, but okay.
Freestyle Traveler said he named his clownfish Knuckle and Head. And Lynn said mine is A-hole 1 and A-hole 2.
Yeah, sounds like they've drawn blood before.
Oh, my little girl draws blood all the time. Like I have marks all over my fingers from this thing.
I remember early on, and I want to say it might have been Bob Fenner. I was listening to a talk he gave where he described something where he went diving around anemones and like they got attacked by clownfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty vicious.
Look at him.
Look at yeah. Tell me how that's not weird.
He's just
This
being
is-
old.
And he's just hanging out. Now we'll see what happens if there's eggs over here. That I would imagine that's going to change the game a little bit. But even right now,
That behavior looks like spawning
look
behavior.
at it. He's under there with them.
So strange.
That's interesting.
I mean, he's not. He's kind of the right shape, but I mean,
Color pattern's completely off.
but gold. I mean, anybody that's kept maroons before knows they do not tolerate
Nothing.
a lot. They're mean. I
Lindsay-
even I've had people tell me like, I can't believe you keep those things because they're so aggressive, and I'm like, as long as nobody's in their territory and it's a big tank, they don't care. But this is weird.
Taryn's Little Ocean got some maroons and she loves them. Lynn is wondering whether the hawkfish is waiting for eggs to eat.
That might be the case. I mean, I'm still trying to understand. Oh God. I saw Clarky clowns. I'm already scared. Clarkies, tomato clowns, and fire clowns. Every time I used to do maintenance on tanks with those things. No, thank you.
That's hilarious.
Are the Clarkies that much more aggressive than the Maroons?
They bite. They bite a lot.
Yeah, the on the side stance, because really that's the hawkfish do that a lot. Maybe they do see it as submissive. I don't know.
This is why I love this hobby. Is you see weird stuff like this and you just go, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And he's wandering around now. He's right there now.
He knows you're there.
But I mean, they've all been together for several months, and I won't lie, I have.
Oops.
Yeah, what?
Did we lose him?
Yeah, we lost him.
Oh, we lost Alex. Suddenly I popped right up full screen. I don't know how that happened.
His battery might have died. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Somebody else was talking about their battery died not too long ago.
I have these shark nose gobies in one. They bit me way more than anything. Yeah, you see, I'm making notes because my quest is ever for fish that aren't going to hurt me or fight with each other. Yeah, we lost you there briefly, Alex.
Yeah, I hit the button here to change screens, and it did not agree with that.
Yeah, it does that all the time.
Oh, this is a little clearer. Lynn says the best way to keep your hands out of the tank is to have bad clowns.
Yeah.
I
can
remember
attest to that.
one tank I used to service. I used to wear a waterproof watch. It was metal, and thinking how I do things now, I'd never wear it. But there was one tank I serviced that there was a pair of Percula clowns that they would attack the watch. They'd never bite me, but they'd attack the living crap out of the watch. And I was like, okay, don't bite me.
As long as I'm not getting clipped, I don't care what you do.
The very first time he's still a good friend that I used to do aquarium maintenance with. We went to this house they had this awfully, it was a triangle tank set up, built into the house. And he's like, why don't you go ahead and you can clean the sides of the tank? And he just had a tone. And I go, why? Why are you asking me to do that? No reason. I'm like, Put my hand in the tank, and they had this tomato clown in there. And that thing came, the first bite it did on me, it drew blood.
Yeah, no.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. He's like, feel free to catch him in a net and flick him a couple times. He's evil. And literally, he had a bucket already ready, and he's like, just net him and put him in the bucket while we clean the tank, and we'll put him back when we're done. He was trying to jump out of the bucket and bite us.
Seriously?
Oh, it was evil. And I love the look like a young, that's the one thing is that a lot of clownfish, like juvenile tomato clowns, really are beautiful to me. And maroons are too as juveniles, but that's why I've always drawn to the gold stripes, because they keep that, they just have a really nice look as they get older.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going over there now.
Yeah, he knows you're looking and it's confusing you. So he's like, well, I think I'll stop that.
I did have a couple of oddities that I found in the temp tank today I did not expect.
Uh-oh.
I found a tiger tail cucumber, which I could have sworn I got every last one of them out and took them to the store. How
did he survive with no sand to go through?
Don't ask me. He's in here now.
Wow.
And he wasn't tiny either. He had a little size to him. And then there is one sand sifting star that I thought I took them all out. He had lost some legs, but they're regenerating now.
Wow.
Nice. Again, I don't know how it survived because I didn't have sand in that tank.
Huh. He must have been.
Detritus buildup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, they feed on microfauna, so.
You got a lot of tube snails.
Oh, I got these. So when I worked in Michigan in the Metro Detroit area, these used to be a pretty common thing. They're a small variety of feather duster that's as big as they get, and they make huge colonies. They're great filter feeders. And I had a few of them going in my old tank. And you could see they take over quite nicely. So, yeah, they're all over a bunch of stuff, and that's when I got this algae, because that was an old school one that I had gotten it from a customer in Detroit originally, and then I'd never seen it before. I got it one time out of California because it's a Pacific macro. Probably came in on live rock, which you can't get anymore. And then a couple of years ago, I happened to be in Detroit for a trip, and I went to the store and I saw this algae, and I go, I'll buy it. And this is all I got left of it, so we'll see. Hopefully, I saw someone on Instagram with it, and I bookmarked them, because if I lose this, I'm going to reach out to them and try to get some.
Yeah, I would too. The connections I used to have versus the connections out here are so crazily insane. It's dramatic. It's like gold versus dirt.
Yeah, so I saw Diacanthis's comment. The interesting thing about the cucumber I got is it looks like a pretty healthy split. And actually, when I tore down the temp tank, I found sea cucumber waste where I could tell he was making pellets. So he was getting enough detritus to feed.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't even know where he's at. Oh, there he is.
Oh my God. Look at that thing. It's
Yeah.
not small.
It's not little.
And he's moving around.
Yeah, the lights just went off, so he's I have significantly better lighting in this basement than the last one.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it's
got
always a
some-
good thing to improve.
Well, I got some of those screw-in LED lights for like garages that have like 3 fins of LEDs that are adjustable with heat sinks.
Gotcha.
They work very well.
Oh, hey, Lynn, super chat. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good night. And
Night, Lynn.
Chewy
Great
does.
seeing that tank, man. Love the Gonophora.
It's beautiful. Awesome.
I gotta see if I can actually get over that hurdle. They did not do well in my last system.
The Tavganis, you mean?
Yeah, I did not have good luck with Gonophora in my last system.
Yeah, mine seem to do fine for a while and then they go into decline. And that was always the pattern before. And I don't know what the answer is. I kind of wonder whether they don't like super high alkalinity, because it seemed like the green one I have wouldn't extend its polyps if the alk went above around 9.5. And a couple times it got up really high, like I'm talking 12 in the temporary tank. That was not a good dosing situation.
Well,
And I just, it got away from me once or twice. And I just wonder if they'd react to it.
I know that in my last system, the clowns did mess with the Gonophoras a bit,
Yeah.
and that was causing a problem. But boy, you are just moving all over the place, little cucumber.
Have
And
you
you're not so little. You're
thought of
actually.
giving him some sand? Like, are you going to put any sand in?
I'm kind of thinking that I have to now.
Oh.
I got plenty of it. I have to wash it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Who else? Who knows what else you're going to find in there?
I know what I'm going to find in there, and it's not going to smell very pleasant.
That's right. You should live stream when you open those buckets.
Make sure you wear a gas mask.
It was 80. It was 80 degrees today. So.
Oh Lord, yeah.
And
Wear a gas
they've
mask.
been through 80s and 90s and below 0 and back to warmer temps. So yeah, they're nice and ripe now.
Yeah, they'll probably be overly ripe. You'd be surprised if them 5-gallon buckets haven't exploded with gas already.
They have not. I've been watching them, and they have not. So I just can't believe this guy has made it. But I think this cucumber will do okay, because even tonight I fed pretty heavy. I fed for like probably 10 or 15 fish, and I have 4. But yeah, bubble corals getting into night mode.
That's a bubble?
Yeah.
It looks like a big elegance.
It's a very big bubble.
Oh, okay.
Although I unfortunately it has not done the best in this temporary situation.
Yeah, it looks like you
But-
lost a nice big head on the left right there.
Oh, that right there is a separate colony that I actually had when I moved, but I lost it during the transition, and then there's been a lot of recession.
That's the one I'm
And-
talking about, where you were
Yeah.
just pointing.
It's basically 2 colonies now. I'm hoping. Whoa, where are you going? Whoa. Do not get sucked up in a pump.
Yeah, you might want to do something about that. He's going vertical.
No, no. No, no.
Yeah, well, there's your goal for the rest of the night.
You're in the doldrums. You're okay. Put your feet on the bottom, please. I know you can. There you go.
They
No,
actually have feet.
no.
Oh dear.
Uh,
Yeah, you might want to turn your pups down.
This could be just because he can't anchor himself.
I mean, at least turn
You
your
know
stuff
what?
down until he anchors.
he can. Well, he was anchored. He just.
Yeah, that's going to be real bad.
All right, buddy. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're
me
trying.
personally, I'd have been done shut down circulation in the tank. I'd already be in the tank.
You gotta give nature a chance, though.
Yeah, and see, that's my problem. That's why I try to keep it basic and small.
Like he's trying.
Hey, MB Reef, thanks for coming by and showing us your tank. It was great. And
Beautiful, by the way.
Beautiful tank.
Yeah, there goes some colonies.
All right, we got a chance to put some feet down.
Oh, he's got him.
No.
Well.
This is like a suspenseful show that we're watching right now.
no
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going around
it's
damaging things, or it's going to. Yeah.
Do not go to the gyre, please.
You might want to.
could just be the flow that
Yeah.
he hasn't figured it out.
I'd kill the flow personally. And hope to God he didn't hit it.
Oh, he'll be all right. Wouldn't be the first time I've seen that happen. You'd be surprised what they can do. The problem is that he does not have sand in him.
Mm-hmm.
He can't weigh himself down. Gotcha.
There we go.
You ever thought about putting a tub in there, kind of like Cindy did with her grain wrasse?
I will, now that I know this dude's in here. I think more than likely what it's going to be is I'm going to put a pile of sand around a few rocks, because sea cucumbers aren't very good at finding tubs of sand like grasses are.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They don't have the range.
Let's give this guy a minute.
Yeah, me personally, as soon as I saw him floating around like that, I'd have killed all flow in the tank. But then again, I'm a stickler for shit like that. Oops,
I'm a bit of a gambler, but I mean, I've seen them. I've had these guys stuck against like gyres are actually. They're a lot more forgiving than a lot of other propeller pumps.
Don't they stop every once in a while if they sense too much stoppage?
Some of them will, but the thing with the gyre is that because it's such a wide plane of flow, like I've had a couple encounters where stuff's gotten sucked into them, but it never really got damaged because the suction it created was able to be, it was pulling water through at other points.
Yeah, it was just enough to keep it there, but not suck it through the grating.
Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is that while this sea cucumber doesn't have sand right now, it didn't have sand in the last tank. Yeah. There was a couple seats of egg crate on the bottom, and there was a couple MP40s running all the time. So,
they're hit or miss, I guess. See, he's already back up in the current.
I almost wonder if he is allowing himself to be put out in the current.
I mean, it kind of looks like it. Looks like he's trying to find somewhere to bed down, and he's not finding what he wants.
Could be.
I mean, me personally, I try to shoo him towards that big rock in the back right.
Well, you got to be careful with sea cucumbers, though. You don't want to poke them.
Yeah, I heard they're real finicky, and when they go, the tank's dead.
You know, that's one of those things that I've always heard people tell me that could happen even since I've worked in local fish stores. I even had one that I was trying to get out of a tank once, and it basically looked like someone shot out a tube of silicone or toothpaste.
Lovely.
Ooh.
But it didn't kill everything. And while it could happen, I've never actually seen somebody tell me, like, a personal account where someone's like, oh yeah, the sea cucumber, like, I know 100% sure that's what wiped out my tank.
Well, true.
Because that goes into one of those things of, oh, well, the sea cucumber killed my tank. And you go, oh, is anything else going on? Oh, well, we lost power for 4 days too.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And you're like, well, I don't know if that sea cucumber is really a problem.
Yeah. The fact that
That's-
nothing in there can breathe.
Yeah, that's why I've never been against sea cucumbers, because I mean they work.
Yep.
I
Do
could
they
see
have
he needs some sand, but we can work that problem.
Yep.
I got a tray over here. Maybe I'll put a few scoops in there and a rock and give him a place to be.
I was waiting for the hawkfish to land on him.
That was my thought too.
Do they have eyes, Alex? Can they actually see?
I don't know. I've never really studied sea cucumbers a whole lot to understand their biology and all their parts.
As far as I understand, one of the most complex eyes, at least for non-invertebrates, is like the box jelly.
Mm.
Well, they're
It
Well,
has
they-
like
they-
4
they'd be in it-
photophores, or
yeah,
whatever
they're
they're
an
called.
invertebrate though.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, jellyfish are invertebrates. They don't have a spine.
Yeah, but the box, if I remember correctly, it could either be the box or the Portuguese man of war. One of them's not actually a jellyfish. It goes along the lines of what we were saying earlier about the trichophilias and the lobophilias and the hobophilias.
Okay.
It's kind of the same principle, but if I remember correctly, the box jellyfish, I mean, it's not a box. The best way I can explain it is like the camel spider.
No, they have a bell. Like I've seen a few shows on box jellies, and they do have a fairly complex eye for what they are.
They've got like 4 receptors, one on each
They'll
side.
actually, like, there's the one show I was watching on them. Like they're like, yeah, they can see you, and they might decide to chase you.
Yeah,
So-
or leave you alone because you're just that much bigger. I mean, who knows?
Is he crawling into that tub?
It looks like it.
He is. Or he's trying to go up, and now he's
Well,
realizing that it's
he's-
not a wall.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to prompt me to maybe do some more sea cucumber research to understand their behavior more.
Yeah, that'll make 2 of us.
Yeah, he's crawling up because he's
Maybe he's looking for food. Was
probably.
this tub in the other tank? And you just moved?
Yes.
Maybe he used to sleep in there.
I mean, that or he's smelling familiar ground.
Yeah, it might be more of a looking for food type of thing too. Hard to say. I mean, when I pulled that tub, it did have detritus in it, but see, I did feed the tank quite a bit of mysis shrimp
Yeah.
today, and it could just be I smell food.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's actually kind of cool. Up and over.
I'm sitting here just going, do I turn my pumps back on or do I just let it go?
I'd let him go for another 5 or 10 minutes, see if he comes out.
Well, they're on a 30-minute feed timer, so.
Oh, well then, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
So, are your lights on over this tank, and or are we looking
No,
at?
everything's off.
Yeah, it's room light.
Yeah, it's just
That thing
the
is
surface of the
bright.
sunlight here.
Yeah, so he just basically started moving around when the lights went off.
Yep.
So he's not used to.
There's some lights that would be on in the basement if I was down there at times. So
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm gonna say my goodbyes because my stomach's starting to rumble.
Oh dear. Thanks for coming in tonight, and
good talk.
interesting talking about the clam and all of that. It's cool.
It's just everything's growing.
That's what you want.
Now it's time to reach out and hopefully try to get a couple sponsors.
Yeah,
And hopefully I can do something with this tank,
that'd be cool.
especially from Aqua Steve.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we will be back next week and see what the week brings. I'm not ending the stream yet. I want to see what the sea cucumber is going to do. As long as you're happy to stay.
It's still hanging out in the cup.
Huh.
Why has it got to be with the bounce mushroom?
Yeah, exactly.
Why's you got to pick the most expensive thing in the tank, man? Come on now. It's like one time I bought a couple frags and I put them in the tank, and I had got those orange and green clove polyps, and the guy ended up selling me the frag for like 15 or 20 bucks, and it only had like 7 or 8 heads on it, and there were a couple of runners between each head. And I bought a Mexican turbo snail because I had an algae problem, and I put it in my tank, and that thing ate my cloves.
Oh, no.
I was so mad. It was pathetic. I woke up the next morning. I look in the turbo snail. You could see his trail, and then he cleaned the frag plug, and then trailed right off.
Wow.
Yeah, I woke up that morning and looked at that. The Mexican turbo snail kind of just reached in the tank, walked outside, chucked it in the desert.
Johnny Martinez says, that's so awesome. He loves the floating idea. Look at the astronauts. They love floating around.
Nice.
As long as they don't get sucked into a pump, I mean, I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Got to get the good old.
Yeah.
Elliptical tissue are capable of sensing light. Okay, so yeah, that does.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Top-down view.
And we're on exit mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I told you 5 minutes or less.
I don't see the bounce. Where is it?
It's
Left.
almost dead center. It's pretty close up right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I see. Wow, an ant right next to my phone. Great. That's always a good thing.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
I know it's.
I mean, a lot like that he could dig through and get food, right?
Well, honestly, he was not something I anticipated being here. So
Gotcha.
I think a few cups of sand in this tray might be in its future.
Yeah.
So
Like
that might
tomorrow
be
morning.
tomorrow's project is make a sand bed for this guy, and then when I see him at night, I'll put him in there, and then maybe I'll put a rock over the top or something, because they don't they like to stay hidden during the day.
Yeah.
When I threw him in there, I mean, he latched onto a rock right away and started looking. So
Nice.
but that's a pretty sizable cucumber.
Yeah.
It,
All right.
it-
Well,
oh, sorry.
I'm gonna hop out of here. I'm still gonna have you on my tablet and watching, but I got to get some food. I haven't had anything to eat in 6+ hours.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Aaron.
Be
Yeah.
back.
All right.
Good talking with you.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I always enjoy the weekly talks.
Yeah, good.
All right, I'm out.
Yeah, good night. Looks cool from the top down.
Yeah, it's like my least favorite view now.
Oh, sorry. I actually snorted right then. Sorry.
Give it a few months where I'm just looking at it from the side and I'm like, oh, top down, so cool. Like, I really was like, oh, this is going to be great in this temp tank.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And think of all those videos that people put out specifically with like top down and how, like you said, so cool. And everybody goes, oh, the top down view, nobody ever does it. And yeah, until you have to, and you have no choice, no option.
Yeah, it's not as glamorous as it seems when it's the 24/7 thing. When I had SPS going in here, that was a lot better, but
Yeah.
Unfortunately I lost those about a month into my temp tank. So
Well, and it's we don't realize how much you cannot see from the top down.
Yeah.
I've had to like lift big pieces of rock up to check for something underneath, or if a frag that was on the bottom got pushed under by the flow and I was unable to get it because you just can't see. Always leaving. Damn.
oh jeez.
You were safe there, buddy.
Just on the hunt for food apparently.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it won't be too long before there's I'll try and get some sand in here tomorrow. I think the tray is going to be I could fill up about half that tray with sand, and that'll be more than enough.
Yeah, give him a little house that he can retreat.
Well, I'm going to be feeding a lot heavier too because the system needs it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I'm just thinking now, what's my protein skimmer look like? I haven't looked at it in a while. We're sleeping there.
The water looks nice and clear.
Yeah. There goes my battery warning on the phone.
Oh man, we've gone almost 4 hours. Wow.
Yeah, that's about right. I fed PE mysis, so it really slammed everything. But I'll say this though. I mean, I cleaned it this morning and it didn't have nearly that much in it. So
Oh. It's doing the job. Diacanthus thinks it would be hilarious if you could train the cucumber to eat off a stick.
yeah, that you know what? That just sounds like some kind of horror movie where, that sounds like some kind of viral video where it's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You should know better than that.
Yeah. Marcus is just wondering if you have an option to turn down the flow a little bit.
In the big tank?
Yeah, just to sort of take it down a couple notches so the little guy might not drift so much.
Yeah, I think, well, he's out on the bottom now.
Yeah, he does look like he's hanging on really good.
You know what we're going to do is that we are just going to unplug the gyres for the night.
Well, there you go.
And that problem is solved. Yeah, he's wandering.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to, just like the starfish, not anticipated to see that.
Yeah.
Well,
did you know you had the sand sifter in the tank in the first place? Well, no, because you didn't know.
I saw him once, and he was not in good shape, which I don't know where he went. Oh, no, he's still over there.
Yeah.
I saw him once and I just went, there's not much I could do. And then I was shocked that he was still there.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, obviously we're getting food somewhere. So,
And because that was an extended time too, like several months.
yes. So, yeah, cucumbers working up the rock now.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That is cool. I remember one night on the stream, how many did you count? There were like 16 or something?
Oh, I don't even know how many I took back to the store. I think he still has some of them at the store.
Yeah.
Like he was like, stop bringing these.
I can't
And I
get
was like, look, I can't take them. You got to take them.
everybody thinks they're going to kill their tank.
It wasn't even that. He's like, you didn't buy that many from me. And I was like, they split.
Yeah, what? You've been breeding them. They're
So,
captive bred, for heaven's sakes.
well, it looks like it's working its way into a rock crevice now. So
Cool.
that's a pretty good sized one. That looks like it's about halfway the size of a big one.
Wow.
I mean, they'll stretch out a good foot.
Jeepers. So at
So
what size would he split? Like, would you come down, in a week or so and find you had two?
honestly, I've never seen one split. I just know what happens because there's more of them than I bought.
Because there weren't eggs or babies. They were just suddenly more.
Yeah, and I read up on tiger tails that I know they do split. So, and I plan to put them into my new display because there'll be sand in there.
Yeah.
So
So cool. Such a great opportunity to see wildlife that we never get to see.
yeah, they're definitely different. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
So
didn't honestly know specifically what they looked like because I've never really seen good
well,
photographs of them.
I'll say this: it must be looking for food because I've never seen a cucumber at night move around this much in this short period of time.
Yeah.
They usually find their sand and they start digging it. So that's tomorrow's goal.
Yep.
Put some sand in here. Maybe I will just I'm thinking my acrylic tray back here is going to get about half of it filled with sand. And then maybe I'll jam some food into it at night to attract it.
Yeah. Well, it obviously could climb up and over that little tub.
Yeah, that's not a problem. And they're not big. My experience with tiger tails, they do not leave the sand.
Hmm.
So again, not something I expected to find today. So
Oh, hey, good night, Multiple Aquariums. Thanks for coming by. Diacantha says he's seen two small chunks next to each other, but never seen the actual splitting. Yeah, my Gorgonian, the Corky sea finger, which is I think what that one is.
yeah,
Mine doesn't close up at night. I mean, it might close up briefly, but then it comes out again.
it is kind of weird that it's closed, but I
Maybe.
don't know. I kind of feel that this is being the first night. It's going to take a couple of weeks here for everything to normal out.
Oh yeah, and the hawkfish looks like he's back with the clowns.
Yep.
So weird.
Well, I think I am going to call it a night here because my phone is about to die.
Yeah, and we're 6 minutes shy of midnight, and I still want to look at the replay, see if there's any hidden comments from trolls. That's always fun.
You have fun with that.
All right. Well, thanks, Alex, as usual, and thank you to everybody that stopped in tonight because it's a really interesting night. Good to see everybody's tanks, and future live streams. Come on in. No, nobody bites. It's fun. people love to ask questions and see what's going on. And yeah, it's good. And I appreciate the time you all spend because I know it's Saturday night. So I'm going to call it a night. And thanks again, Alex.
Oh, you're welcome.
And have a good week. I hope you enjoy your couple of days that you're going to take to breathe.
We'll see if we make it past tomorrow.
Yeah, because you've already got a project.
Yeah, some tells me it's secondary, some's going to be quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah. Well, when you feel like doing it is when you should do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night, all. Stay safe, everybody. Have a good week. And we will see you next week.
Have a good night. Thanks for having me.